Sit back and get ready to have the most fun you ever had with an electronic device.
Sure.
Let's
Why
do
the
it.
hell not, right?
Yeah,
Why not?
I don't have any control over this.
Do you want it? Do you want
I'm
it?
like the Giants' offensive coordinator. No control at all.
I'm throwing up my hands and surrendering.
You just show up and see what happens and give people encouragement.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, everybody, welcome out to the Log Room. It is Wednesday, April 28th, 2021. Jersey Johnny coming at you, and with me, as always, is none other than Mr. RadioPete, Mr. Harry Lug Nutz. Say hello, gentlemen.
Howdy.
Hello, gentlemen.
How the hell are you all?
Both
today?
of you.
All both of us. How the hell are you today?
Happy birthday, by the way.
No, I'm not 1 year older today like some people.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That would be you. What are you now, 61?
65.
Nice. Almost, almost times to start collecting those checks.
Yeah.
How about you? Now, you guys are the same age, right?
Pat's a year older than me.
I'm 78.
He's 78.
Right.
A whole
Yeah,
year
but-
older than 65 is 78.
Well, that's a year on
It's a year on Mars. That's just
Jupiter.
That's the way it
something
works.
like
Yeah,
that.
something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
It's 5 dog years or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just
Unless you're a Great Dane.
exactly.
Well, hell, then I must be 84.
Yeah, that makes you 84. Exactly.
Yes.
65, 78, and 84.
Still doing the podcast at 84. That was not in my life plan.
That was not in the plan.
That was,
I figured give it up by 82 at the most.
Well, it happens like that. I got a good present.
Larry King did it to like 90, didn't he?
90, no more than that. 93 or 94.
Yeah, but like the last 20 years sucked.
Pretty much.
Well, maybe it was.
Not to him.
No, that's true.
Oh, not to him.
He had 6 marriages in that 20-year span.
Exactly. Just 6. I thought he had 6 in the last 10. But
I don't know.
I got a good present today. You want to see it?
Sure.
All right, here we go. Ready? Here we go.
Does that go on the starting pitcher that you need?
But wait, there's more.
Okay. Jersey Johnny, number 18. Now batting, number 18. Jersey Johnny.
Now, what is the significance of the 18?
It's what I always wore anytime I was on a softball team or whatever. Picked a number. I was always 18. So it's kind of probably a Darryl Strawberry kind of nod, but what else?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thought it was maybe something back in your early days to check
Don Clendenin.
Don Clendenin.
check their ID and make sure they're 18.
Well, that's a whole other story for a different
Happiest
podcast.
day of my life.
Trust me, I know.
Yeah, you were there for
Well,
a while.
actually, how long did you guys have to wait
For what?
to legally drink?
Wait? Well, I don't know about that. But
Well, I mean, because I'm a little bit older than you, and
Right.
it was 18, but then it went to 19. And I had to wait.
It
It was 21 for us.
It
It was
missed
21.
us.
Okay.
It missed us. It went to 19 and then 21. Like within a few years, it was
Yeah.
just like kind of just missed us. But we were just behind it. But 21, yeah. But I mean, hey, what are you going to do? I got to tell
like
you.
I said, I did say legally.
Right, this is true.
Well-
And everybody's the same way. And Harry will even tell you there was a bar in the next town over from us. And it wasn't even a bar really, as it was like a hamburger place and plus bar, kind of on Riverside Avenue and the next town over. And literally, and I'm not kidding when I say this, as long as you were tall enough to reach up and put the money on the bar, you got served.
Well, we went in there, I think, on my 21st birthday, and somebody and I had been going in there and getting packaged goods for probably,
12 years.
something like that. And the bartender just was like, all right, tell your friends to shut up.
Exactly.
Officially welcomed.
Exactly. So you gotta love it. But that was then, and this is now. It's not even
Right.
close to the same anymore.
And we're just telling stories here. None of this is true.
No. This
Yeah.
is all.
It's all fictional.
Yeah, it was part of an autobiography I was reading online.
Based on a true
based
story.
on a true story of someone else.
Exactly.
Wasn't involved. We're just characters are the same, but the names are changed.
Apple juice till I was 19.
23, 19.
Apple juice, milk, and cold water. That's it.
You have a very interesting something or other. Maybe it's a sticky note on your back wall that's blowing in the wind today.
I got
It's waving high is what it's doing. It's like
the ceiling fan is on. That is,
fans.
believe it or not. Hold on a second. This room used to be one of the boys' rooms.
Gotcha.
For a while, and that sticky note
has been there for the last 15 years.
Been there for probably about 10 years.
Get out of here! Really? I was kidding.
Yeah,
it's pretty sticky.
That's a sticky note.
It's a no, it's not a sticky note. It's got a piece of Scotch tape on it.
Oh, okay.
And it's a little, and if you can't really see it, if you look there,
there's another one.
That's another one on the door. You know what? I'm going to
grab
one.
What is the new kimono that you have hanging over your egg carton crates collection going back there? Is that your Sunday scarf?
That's a towel.
It's not even a kimono; it's a towel.
I've asked too many questions, and I've already gotten one answer I don't want to know.
It's my tropical shower towel.
It's your tropical shower towel. Now, is that a tropical towel, or do you take a tropical shower? Which is
both. Both. I am obligated to take a tropical shower. Because,
why is that towel in that room? Since there's no shower in that room, is there?
At least I hope it goes to dry off.
Because we have a number of towel racks that have come off the walls.
Okay, so you hang your tropical shower towel in your office.
In the office.
Yes,
absolutely. Well, I mean, hey, you know,
this is where
convenience, you know.
This is where all my clothes are.
Yeah, right. Maria Kondo has her work cut out for
her. She has practically slit her wrist.
Got to throw her up every now and then.
This room brings me no joy. It brings no one. It sparks nothing. It sparks fear. My entire family.
Either that guy gets on the sticker, I'm going to kill myself.
Exactly. One of these days, we'll actually put up a real picture of Marie Kondo, not just a Muppet picture of Marie Kondo.
I like Puppet Marie.
Yeah.
So this is the face.
That's
on the two things that are on the wall. One was on the door,
right?
And this was a face that kids used to draw when they were young, and I always likened it to kind of the Grinch, but it's a little bit disturbing. So I'll show you this.
Okay,
That could be a number of things.
It's sort of like an angry smile,
it's
kind of like eyebrows, but there's no eyes.
Yeah, I could see that.
And it's just like, and like from far away, it doesn't look.
It's an angry smile. I get that. It could also be like what's that? Upside down. When you're editing, writing, you put that little carrot at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
So it looks like an upside down carrot pointing at a nipple. It could be.
It looks like a boob.
Right. There you go.
But everything looks like a boob to me.
At one point, there were probably about 35 of these hanging.
That's a lot of boobs. It's an odd number, which
35,
is strange.
35 boobs.
Just all over the house. Yeah. Well, it's like that was the Steve Martin bit for the Crazy Vegas show, and you can't really tell what's going on. And you just go, wow, look at the boobs up there. There must be 57 boobs on that stage.
57. Gotta love it.
So anyway, that's things that are hanging on my wall. A new segment here on the show.
And that's I'm glad we rehearsed this. I'm glad we have it's not just a cold overhead now.
Exactly.
We're on? Are we on?
We are on. We are actually on.
Well, listen, if we are, and I doubt this would ever happen, if we are ever at a loss for content, this room will be our savior.
Absolutely.
Is it in there? That's a new segment. I'm just going to name something, and Pete will find it in his room.
Well, I was going to actually, bring up before, as far as being starved for content, before we're talking about drinking. Back in radio, when we were in radio, the most alcohol I've ever consumed while actually working on the air on radio was with Pete.
Was he wearing the tropical towel?
No,
but he did fall asleep on a conference table a little later on in the evening.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
With I think it was 3 or 4 pizza boxes
underneath as a pillow.
Yeah, my pillow. Yeah.
Right. You didn't pass out on the air though, a la Joe Walsh, did you?
No.
So. Yeah, good times.
Good time.
There you go. Was that back in the 70s?
Good, clean fun.
My big break, and then it was over just a few months
And then it was
later.
over. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Well,
all right. Well,
all right. So there we
that'll
go.
wrap it up for tonight. We want to thank you for watching. No, I'm kidding.
remember our discussion of trying to keep the show shorter?
Well, if I figure if we do a little bit more of a shtick in the beginning, it'll.
You know what? Let's
Is this shtick or something else?
Shtick
That
or
sounds
something.
like shtick.
to make up for it. We can skip hockey tonight. How about that?
We could skip hockey. There
Thank
we go.
you.
Not a whole lot
Thank
of fun with that.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about baseball. Let's get into
Baseball, you bet.
Baseball, you bet. Yeah. Will the Mets or the Yankees ever start hitting the ball? Will this happen? In
The Yankees are kind of hitting it, depending on the day. I mean, they're back to scoring runs the way they've always scored runs, which is, DJ LeMay who gets a single or a double, and
Sure.
one of the five guys after him hits a home run.
Right.
They seem to now this year they're having trouble with Baltimore, but yeah, the Mets hit occasionally too. I mean, their best hitter might be their best pitcher.
Yeah. I mean, if DeGrom could hit in
Well, he
9
can.
spots,
They can just Ohtani.
stay hitting, and just like as soon as he gets on first or second or whatever, he hits a single, a double, whatever.
Well,
Put runner on, have him go back to the plate and hit again.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
There you
exactly.
go. Let me throw some numbers at you, and you tell me what you think this is.
Go for it.
You'll know what it is, but 232, 309, 390.
232, 309, 390.
Francisco Lindor's batting average.
Not even close. So Francisco Lindor is much lower.
No,
than
he's like 20 points below. Think bigger.
Think bigger. 235.
232.
232.
What did I say?
305, 390.
309, 390.
309, 390.
232, 309, 390.
232, 309,
Tell us.
390.
That is the league average slash line.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
No
Wow.
one is hitting.
Yeah, that is true.
No one is hitting.
And that's okay. I'm all right with
Yeah.
that. I'm not concerned about
Ops is
average.
699.
I'm concerned about the Yankees have scored 6 runs already tonight. On any night, 6 runs for them should be enough to win.
Mm-hmm. But, however,
they score 6 runs, and then the next night they score none.
Yeah. Well,
So-
let me ask you this, because this is part of that equation, perhaps.
sure.
What is going to happen with the Yankee catcher situation?
Well,
Because it's no longer right. Because we've heard the explanation from Boone about, how do you pronounce his last name?
Higashioka.
Higashioka. Getting his time when it really wasn't his time. When it wasn't.
he's catching again tonight.
Yeah, because he's hitting more. So at what point does he
Let me
become
let-
the
let me
starting
let you-
catcher?
Let me
is
let
my
you in on a little
question.
secret. He's the starting catcher.
That's right now. It's already happened.
He's the starting catcher.
Okay.
Here's the other thing that the other night, the Yankees and what was it? The Yankees Cleveland game was on Major League Baseball Network.
Yeah.
So I was watching it on that because I don't have Yes or whatever the hell they're on right now.
Yes. Yeah.
And they had at the bottom of the screen, they had CC Sabathia and a couple of the other typical Yahoos from Major League Baseball Network talking through the game. What was interesting about it is Harold Reynolds actually came in and started talking. I think it was Harold Reynolds who brought this up about Sanchez. And the fact of one of the things that he does is that he doesn't frame the pitch. He'll show the target and then move it. And those little bits of movement that he does are the difference between somebody getting a pitch that they can't hit and a pitch that's going to be right in their wheelhouse to hit.
Right.
And the thing with Higashioka, which is interesting, is that their pitching is doing a lot better. Corey Kluber had a good outing. Herman, who's back again, I don't know. Aaron Boone, what the fuck's going through your mind? I don't know. But Herman, who I like, is having a decent start so far today. So it's not just the fact that Higashioka is hitting 296 and seems to be a better fit at the bottom of the lineup when the lineup kind of turns the corner and goes back to the top, but
he's just a better catcher.
He's a better catcher.
He's all around, pretty much in every way,
right.
better now than
here is something that I have been just hoping for since the beginning of the season. and that is to put Higashioka behind the plate, to bring up Mike Ford and put him at first base, and understand that Tauchman needs to start playing in left field. Now, tonight it's Gardner in left field as opposed to what they were trying to do out there. But that puts DJ back at second base, since he's been back at second base, he's hitting again. So tonight they also move Stanton up into the second spot. He's hitting in the second spot. He doesn't have the pressure. Spot, yeah. He doesn't have the pressure of hitting third or fourth, and that's also allowed Gio Urshela to move up, and now he's starting to hit the ball. Mm-hmm. And Ford, believe it or not, is a pretty good first baseman, and his numbers don't look like it. But the other night, he hit a home run, a back-to-back home run. It's just a better fit. It allows them to have better defense, and it allows them to have people who are more naturally in those positions. Now, why Judge is not playing tonight, I don't know. He's platooning these guys a little too much right now. Yeah. But and it also allowed Aaron Hicks to move down out of that third spot. Now, Hicks, he had a couple decent games. He moved down
far enough.
He moved down far enough.
Doesn't bat at all.
So for Stanton and Hicks, but for Stanton and Hicks, I don't think they can take the pressure of that third and fourth spot.
Right.
And never in a million years would I think, all right, you're going to have the one of the biggest sluggers in the history of the game in the second spot, but that works for the Yankees. And now Stanton will probably go down to third or whatever the case might be when Judge plays. They actually had Judge in the third spot, which I like. They're hitting again. They're hitting some home runs again. They're playing better defense. And with the exception of a few games, they're getting decent pitching. Now, their bullpen is going to be worn out.
Sure.
Come the playoffs. But you have to say
you got to get there first.
The MVP of the Yankee season so far is their bullpen.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, they've kept the games close.
Yeah.
They should have won a hell of a lot more than they did, but they just couldn't hit the ball. Right. And, I mean, the same goes for the Mets, too.
Right.
Here we go, another DeGrom start, it's 1-0
in Boston.
1-0 Boston in the sixth.
I never thought Kansas City would have the best record in baseball right now, but they do. Everybody's bunched up a couple games below at or a couple games above 500. There's nobody running away with anything right now.
Right.
And there's a lot of parity, and you're right. There's not a lot of runs being scored. The pitching is just dominant, except for that one pitch that they can get in there that somebody can get their bat on it. And that's where Sanchez was causing a lot of problems with the Yankees when he was behind the plate. It wasn't so much just dropping to a knee and just not being able. It's how he manages the pitchers, and that's a big thing.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and listen, and Ford could be that. I think we talked about it last week. That breakout guy, right? Every year, maybe
Ford's going to be a fill-in until Luke Voit gets back,
right?
And then he's going to play. I'll be honest with you. I don't mind having him at first base and Voit as a DH if Higashioka's catching, because you don't necessarily need Sanchez in the lineup.
Yeah, but you already have 3 or 4 DHs though.
Right. You have too many DHs.
Yeah. But I'm saying, Ford could be that guy that kind of comes alive, and then maybe it's not such an easy decision when Voit comes back.
No, it's a very easy decision. Voit starts, and because last 2 years he's been the Yankees' best slugger. He led the league in home runs last year.
Right.
So
I'm saying at first.
No-brainer.
I'm saying putting him right at first.
A lot of people had some criticisms of Voit at first. I actually thought Voit is. I think he's a pretty good.
He was bad.
I think he's actually a way above average first baseman. I think he's actually. I never have a problem with him at first. That doesn't scare me too. The Yankees have 3 really good defensive first basemen, whether it's LeMahieu, Ford, or Voit. With probably LeMahieu and Ford being the 2 best.
But sure. LeMahieu,
you're taking away a premier middle infielder.
Yeah, you're not paying him to be a good first baseman. No. You're paying him to be.
He's just the kind of guy who's always going to move where they put him and always do a pretty darn good job. Other than shortstop. Although I'll tell you what, he's probably a better shortstop than Gleyber Torres.
Actually, I heard calls this morning on the radio. Go get Story.
Yeah, I mean, I
already
honestly think that's a foregone conclusion.
Don't wait. Just go do it now because there's no one else. Just enough. No waiting.
Right. I think that's a foregone. I mean, whether it happens now or it happens at any time between now and August.
Yeah.
It's going to be Trevor.
And look, the Yankees need to win now. The time that they're going to have
their point.
With Garrett Cole is now.
Yeah.
So while you're out in Colorado, save on airfare, and he's not having a great year, so you might be able to get him at a discount. But get Story and bring Charlie Blackmon along.
Trade Sanchez for Story.
Easy, done. But nobody's going to do that.
No, I know.
It is the Rockies. It is the Rockies.
Well, it is the Rockies.
I don't even think the Rockies are going to do that. I really don't.
How many years left on Sanchez's contract? That would be.
I don't
know.
2.
Anyway, how about that Matt Harvey?
Yeah. What about
things of one-run ball against the Yankees? You can't imagine he's going to be very good for very long, though.
No.
But he might. I don't know.
You know what? I mean, more power to him. If he is, he is. It's awesome. I mean, for him to come back from thoracic outlet surgery and pitch like he's pitching right now, I really didn't think it could be done.
Yeah.
And when the news first broke that he made the starting lineup with the Orioles, I was like, okay, what does that speak to the Orioles starting pitching?
Right.
But he's been pitching pretty decent. I mean, his ERA is still a little over 4. But, he's been pitching better than I would have thought he would have been after that surgery, and certainly better than he was at all for the Mets or anywhere else he's bounced around to since leaving.
Yeah, sure. Here's the difference between Harvey the other night and why the Yankees are winning tonight. Kremer was the starting pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles, pitched 4.1 innings and had 89 pitches.
Right.
That's how the Yankees win. And that's why you want a guy like Brett Gardner and Mike Ford and some of these. I mean, Stan and Sanchez. I think they're two of the easiest guys to strike out on 3 pitches. And Judge isn't much better. If Judge just looks off a couple pitches, odds are they're going to walk him. But when he swings it, they love to swing at that first pitch, and then they're just behind on the count, and they're gone. So the Yankees are back to working the count and getting to people's bullpens, and that's where they can win. And, they're doing it tonight. They, 6 runs. I feel happy when they score 10, but it's, Well,
what did you think about Aaron Boone's comments the other day? Or Aaron Judge's comments about Boone getting tossed, I guess, and that kind of fires up the team.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's something he needed to do. I think he was doing it because there's rumblings about, hey, Buck Showalter's available.
Yeah. But I don't know. Does that really fire up the team? I mean,
I think Judge
didn't they have a meeting after game 1 against the Rays, and Aaron got fired up, and the team really didn't get fired up. So I don't know.
I mean, whatever it takes. I think firing up a team. Can you fire these guys up anymore? I don't know.
I don't know. I'll tell you the other thing I noticed about that is Boone was talking about Muggy and Bumpy, or everybody's nickname
Muggy and Bumpy.
I forget what the names were. Two nicknames for guys, and then Judge comes on and he's talking about Booney, and I'm like, do you have to? Everyone's nickname on the team just ends in EY or Y.
Yeah.
Is that why you put your for your things before?
He said, yeah, when Booney gets fired up,
the guy who gets his team fired up is Gardner. I mean, Gardy, yeah. Gardy's a nut job, but he gets, and he throw a bat and break it, get thrown out for hitting the bat on the top of the dugout. You need some of that.
Well, look at us, Harry, Petey, Johnny. We're all.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just funny to hear Boone mention 2 names like that, and then Judge come on,
and Judge comes right back and says,
Booney.
Booney. John Donovan wanted to comment in. He said, Joel Sherman said, Torres for Story. Would you do that?
I would. The thing there that the Yankees are going to balk at is their pride in
having Gleyber Torres.
Well, just because he came up through their system.
Right.
And the fact that, if I'm not mistaken, Story's about 4 years older than Torres, maybe more.
More than that, probably.
Yeah.
I imagine, yeah.
So as a shortstop in the league, I mean, even Derek Jeter kind of hit a wall after injuries and age crept up.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to see more than a year or two.
I have no problem.
Of better shortstop play with Story than over Gleyber Torres.
I thought getting rid of Didi Gregorius was a mistake.
Sure.
I don't see Gleyber Torres turning into a superstar. I just don't.
Yeah, if you look statistically, he doesn't have that as many games, obviously, but Gregorius is, if you look at statistically,
way better.
Yeah,
way better.
Well, I mean, and as far as his days with the Yankees and where he ranks amongst, just did the
the fourth best shortstop to ever play. Maybe
that's
right.
Maybe
the third.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a whole, wasn't
large. Trevor Story's 28. Do it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. Entering the prime.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's been this way for a little while too. I mean, everybody they've been bringing along. And we talked about this last week with the the baby bombers that they had several years ago, when they were lost in the beat Cleveland and lost to the Astros the first time. What was that, 4 years ago? Mm-hmm. And you thought, okay, yeah, you know what, the baby bombers, they're coming along. They got a new nucleus of homegrown talent, blah 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 blah, and it hasn't panned out like it did 20-something years ago.
The guys who have panned out have been the guys that they've traded for kind of on the slide and who took advantage of their opportunities when it was given to them. I mean, we heard for years about Greg Bird, broken foot, come back. Greg Bird, Luke Voit slid in there.
Right.
Nobody was saying we have to make room for Luke Voit to play. He wasn't even on the roster on starting day with Tauchman. Tauchman's a guy whose numbers he's a good fielder. And when he gets on base, he's one of the Yankees' best base stealers. And he seems to be a guy who can create runs.
Sure.
I look, that to me is more of a future in the outfield. Stanton, you've already given up on him playing the outfield. Judge is a good outfielder, but I don't know how much. I'm not sure Aaron Judge hasn't been figured out somewhat. Right. He's just a big target, and top-notch pitchers have figured him out.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of rumblings about Judge and
I said it last year.
The injuries and the number of games he's missed. He hasn't played more than, I don't know. It was crazy. 112 games, I think, since his rookie season or something like that.
The other day, somebody hit a home run that I think Aaron Judge of 2 years ago would have caught.
Yeah.
So
it was, a couple weeks ago there was one over his head. It was a double too,
right?
Or even a triple, yeah. And
even the other day, one that landed in the stands, but he was right there.
Right.
And there's something going on there, and you're right. It's time and it's injuries, and I'm not sure he's not 100% healthy right now. Okay. But we'll see. I mean, it's they have to start finishing games and getting pitchers into the sixth inning or so at least, or else they're Chad Green's arm's going to fall off. But some of these newer guys that they brought in relief wise have done fairly well. So yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see the Yankees make a move. I think they've been a little too laid back in recent years with trying to say, hey, we have everything we need. And not, with the exception of Cole, they haven't really gone out and been aggressive in getting great players. I mean, LeMahieu was under the radar. I mean, the Yankees weren't even talking about DJ LeMahieu being a starting player. There was more chatter about what's his name, who also came over from the Rockies that spring training and then decided to retire. The shortstop. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. Yeah, I mean, there was more chatter about that when Tulo came over. So
and that was less. Well, I don't know.
2 years
ago.
Right. I figured it was less likely that Tulo was going to have sort of a resurgence. Although, if he was, it was going to be with the Yankees. But that seemed like way more of a long shot.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you're right. There was more talk about that.
So they filled the hole with some good guys.
Yeah, but kind of the days of the Yankees going out and getting the big names. Kind of come to an end.
Well, what are the big names? I think that's kind of the thing. Is like there's
Well, I mean, who's the last?
There's 4 great pitchers in baseball that anyone would love to have on their team right now.
Right. But those guys only go, and the Yankees have one of them.
Yankees have
but
one
he
of them.
only goes every 5th day. What I'm saying, since A-Rod, who's the last superstar they brought in?
Well, Stanton.
Yeah, Stanton.
Okay.
They paid a lot of money for a guy who was an MVP, I think, the year before, right?
Year before he was MVP, yeah.
Batting champ 2 years before that,
mm-hmm.
right? And has sucked ever since.
You think Derek Jeter did something?
So that's maybe why they're not doing that.
Yeah, maybe they're a little gun shy.
A little bit. That's true. That's true. Well, you couple that with Jacoby Ellsbury too. I mean, that was just a joke of
that was a horrible
money. You know?
Well, that was a lot of money, but I mean, I don't know. I guess he was at the tail. How old was he?
Ellsbury was 2 years off of a World Series MVP.
2 years off of World Series MVP. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but he was still considered at the sort of the tail end of his prime years, wasn't it?
Right.
I don't know how old he was.
Yes and no, but he should have been playing better than he was.
Well, yeah, no question. He was a horrible bust, but
But
between him and Stanton, they're probably a little gun shy.
I'm not sure the free swinging home run hitter is what is going to win you games. Now, the long ball plays a bigger part in baseball than it ever has. But if you look at a team like the Dodgers, they have guys who are great. They're not super big. They're guys who can do it all. They're good hitters. They're old school good hitters who some of them happen to be able to hit for power, and all of them can hit the long ball on occasion. But they're also good defensively.
Yeah.
So, and they have balance in their lineup. I'm not sure this just,
Well, speaking of the Dodgers,
there you go.
Just for a second,
go for it.
It should be fun to watch them and the Padres. If this past weekend is any indication,
Padres seem to have their number, huh?
Well, but the Dodgers had the Padres number and took 2 out of 3 in their house. So, but I mean, this could be fun to watch all summer long if it plays out and continues.
I mean, right now what you have to say the story of the league is the Royals and the San Francisco Giants.
Yep.
I mean, they're playing really, really well.
Giants are playing good ball right now. The Giants are, they're half a game behind the Dodgers right now.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I think we all
playing in Pittsburgh turned it around too. Pittsburgh is the bottom, and now they're game and a half out of first in the Central. So and Mets are still clinging on to that first place, but not.
Well, listen,
not scoring any runs when DeGrom is pitching.
Just look at the standings.
Yeah. It's a lot of parity.
The NL, and the NL East is the worst division in baseball right now.
It's ridiculous. It really, really is.
I mean, the Mets are in first,
9-9 at 500 right now.
500. You got
first place.
Everybody else is underwater, and there's not a single team that's over.
But not horribly underwater.
Not horribly underwater.
There's no team that's 3-26 right now.
No, that's true. But
anybody can turn this around in 2 or 3 games.
There's nobody who's got and again it's there's nobody who's got 12, 14, 15 wins.
No.
As the league leaders
not in that division.
No, but I'm saying right. That's what I'm saying. As the league leaders in every other division do, and in some cases, a couple of teams in some of the other divisions do. The National League East is nowhere close.
No. I mean, the Oakland Athletics just seem every year to be able to do what they do.
Every year.
And another team that's been pretty darn good for the last, I would say, 6 or 7 years is the Brewers.
Yeah.
And they're 14-10. They're 4 games over 500. Okay, great. But they're game and a half over the Cardinals and 3 games over the Reds, 2 teams and the Cubs who were supposed to have a bounce back year.
Right.
So, there's something to be said about some of the formulas that there's name a Brewer other than, Braun and, well, he's not even on the team anymore. No. I mean, it's hard. It's hard.
Brewer, Christian Yelich.
Yeah. Well, other than Christian Yelich. Yeah.
Lorenzo Cain. Lorenzo Cain's still there.
Raleigh Fingers.
Robin Raleigh Fingers. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Oh, by the way.
Did you mean current or just at all?
No, I mean current. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. That's probably the way they like it, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, the last
all their pitchers have the same haircut. It's kind of like the Dutch boy
there you go.
look, you know.
Yeah. Well,
DeGrom started rocking that too.
Tatis Jr. 2 home runs against Kershaw and 2 home runs against Bauer.
Mm-hmm.
The last time a guy had 2 home runs in a game against back-to-back Cy Young winners was
Mickey Mantle.
Never. Nobody's ever done it.
Nobody's ever done it. Yeah.
Never. And one other never. Shohei
Yeah, but
Ohtani.
I think Phil Rizzuto would average 12 home runs a year in today's baseball. I mean, his average would drop 30 points, but I mean, it's just more people hit the long ball.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
No, I'm just saying it's exciting.
Yeah.
Speaking of the long ball, Shohei Ohtani, this was last night, I guess. Finally doing what we were thinking about him maybe doing, which was pitching well and hitting well. Starting the game, I guess it was last night, while leading the majors in home runs.
Mm-hmm.
And that has not happened since
That
is truly a Ruthian feat since 1921.
Feat, yeah.
He was the last guy. So, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see. I don't know if he can keep it up for a whole season.
Sure.
But
I mean, he's hitting 291.
Yeah, listen, we talk about Mike Trout, right? Who's the best player in baseball and never gets any attention, right? Yeah. Because they never, they don't have any extra money they're willing to spend to put a team around him that wins, so he never gets to the playoffs and never gets on the national stage. Well, now he's not even getting the most attention on his own team.
No.
But I don't know. He's never really complained about it. I think it's fine, I guess. Yes. It's fine when you're making, $35 million a year or 45 or whatever 35, I think it is. But I'm just excited because I like to see stuff like that. I'm rooting for Shohei Ohtani to at least be pretty good. Be a pretty good pitcher. And I think he's pretty good.
As a fan of baseball, you want to see that.
I mean, nobody's talking about the fact that Mike Trout is hitting 431.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. He's not even.
Nobody ever talks about anything good that Mike Trout does.
Team, I think they do, but.
Well, the only time it's mentioned is when people say, "Well, but he never gets any attention because he's never on the national stage because he never gets in the playoffs." It's a shame.
Just as a mention right now, the Mets have something. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, what happened?
Well, they had runners on first and second with 2 outs, and
thanks, Dom.
Yeah, and Dom. Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, if Dom Smith doesn't hit, then.
If Dom Smith's not hitting,
I'll tell you what. Here's a little secret that you guys probably already know: the Red Sox pitching is a lot better than people thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it really is.
The Red Sox are a lot better than people thought.
Well, I thought they'd bounce back and hit the ball, but their pitching's been pretty darn good.
This is true.
And DeGrom is out now, so it's only going to get worse.
DeGrom they pulled him out because he's out.
93 pitches.
Okay. Yeah, Nimmo's the only guy who's really hitting.
So he can only get a no decision or a loss. That's it.
And JD Davis, but he doesn't.
JD Davis is hitting too. Nimmo and JD Davis are hitting.
But he doesn't have as many at bats, so that's part of it. But hey, listen, 382 is 382.
This is true. This is very true.
DeGrom's hitting 462. Take that, Mike Trout.
Well, yeah, that's
Aaron Loop is in the game right now,
and Aaron Loop is pitching. So I'm going to probably shut this off.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. Goodbye. So, on some other Mets news, did you hear Mr. Blevins retired?
Really?
Yeah. Jerry Blevins retired. He didn't make the team.
Favorite beer man.
Exactly. He didn't make the team, and he said if he didn't make the team, he was going to retire. And then he didn't make the team, but he went to the minors. I guess he wanted to work on a couple things, and I guess it just wasn't working out. So he announced today he's done. Retirement for Jerry Blevins. So happy retirement, Mr. Blevins.
Yeah.
Good job. Thanks for the years, and as well as some interesting times. But hey, you know what? He was on SNY last year when he wasn't playing, so it was interesting. They brought him on for a couple of segments. It was pretty funny, but good. It worked. So
well, let's hope. Was he any good? Did you get to see him? Was he any
decent.
good?
He was decent. I mean,
listen, that's all you got to be. I mean, not to.
Is my edible kicking in, or do I hear somebody practicing like
that's a trombone?
Horn?
Okay. Yeah, no, it's a trombone. Yeah,
it's a trombone. Yeah,
it's both. It's Nisma time.
It's both. It's both actually. Is my edible kicking in? I love
the
it.
musical house.
That's great.
But yeah,
Okay.
we wanted to wait. We wanted to wait
what he
until that
did-
happened,
Right.
and then I gave a hand signal. The boy was watching.
Doesn't make it sound any better, by the way.
What he neglected to tell you was the edible he had was a Flintstones chewable.
Yeah, there's a lot of edible things.
Well, listen. At least you're gonna get your zinc.
Exactly.
Probably not. Probably not.
So,
what else we got on the Mets? I don't know.
you know what? They're just not hitting. They booed. They booed Lindor last night. And,
Well, he deserves it.
He doesn't. Yeah, and he actually reacted to it. He says it sucks. It doesn't feel right. Well, start swinging the damn bat.
Yeah,
he'll come around.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. He's always a slow starter and habitually and over the years.
We're only 20 games in, but you know, somebody hit the ball. That's
exactly. So
it's rare to see nearly an entire team, where it's the first two digits in anyone's batting average are 2.5 or less.
Or less, yeah, exactly.
And that's going on right now. So
exactly. So
you know what I did want to bring up, unless you got other Mets stuff to talk about.
No, I'm good. We're good.
I wanted to ask you guys a question, which I'm hearing a lot of chatter about, and say what you want about Major League Baseball and the rules, the new rules we like and the ones we don't. I think we're kind of on the same page with most of them.
Of course.
How do we? I'm not sure though. I want to ask, how do we feel about the 7-inning doubleheaders?
Hate it.
Horrible.
Hate it. Okay, fine.
Are you bringing up Madison Bumgarner?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is
a 7-inning no-hitter a no-hitter?
Well, here's what I said, and everybody was going back.
It's an asterisk. I mean, is a 7-inning game a complete game?
Well,
in this case, it is.
Here's my argument. Everybody's saying, well, it's the same thing as a rain shortened. If somebody's got a no-hitter or no going, and after 7 innings, the rain shortens the game and it becomes an official game, they don't count the no-hitter. I get that. But here's my thing. That's not the game was originally scheduled to be 9 innings that day, and it was shortened to 7 innings. These games are originally scheduled to be 7 innings. Yeah. So Major League Baseball is deeming them complete games at 7 innings before they even play them.
I mean, there is a strategy to that. I mean, if I had a 7-inning game coming up and I'm the Mets, for instance, I'm making sure that my rotation comes through and DeGrom is pitching in one of those 7-inning games.
Well, and everything...
it just makes it's a strategy thing now.
Yeah, well,
I don't like any of the new rules. A baseball game is 9 innings.
Baseball game's 9 innings. There's no runner on second for extra innings. There's no.
These are all stupid rules. But my point is, this is stupidity on top of stupidity.
Right.
Is it a no-hitter? Yes. It's a 7-inning no-hitter.
It's a 7-inning no-hitter.
All of the other
make a new category because these are the new rules for at least last year and this year. It's a 7-inning no-hitter. It's still a no-hitter.
All the batting stats count. All the pitching stats count. You get a win. You get a hold. You get a save. All those things.
Right.
But it can't be a no-hitter.
Right. If you can't count it as a no-hitter, you can't count it as a win either, right? I mean, you can't.
How can you count everything except for one category?
Because you could pitch.
It's a complete game
of an inning and have a win.
I understand.
But it's a complete game too. If you pitch the whole game,
it's a complete game.
It's a complete game.
It doesn't make any sense because you didn't give the man the opportunity to pitch the other 2 innings. And who's to say he couldn't have gone the entire 9?
Those 2 innings don't exist. You're exactly right, John. This is not a game that was shortened due to extraneous circumstances.
Right.
This is a 7-inning game.
And you know what? If it was a 9-inning game, he may have still pitched a no-hitter and he might not have won.
This is very true.
I mean, there's a lot of variables that go into the hardest 2 innings when pitching a no-hitter are the 8th and the 9th.
Now, here's the other thing.
Yes. But it's also in retrospect, like if he gives it up in the 4th, well, then we have like 3 or 4 less innings to be on the edge of our seats.
It's the equivalent of the NBA going, these guys have a back-to-back game, so let's just play 3 quarters.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Or let's play 10-minute quarters.
Somebody actually commented in one of the groups the other day or yesterday, whenever right after the game, and everybody's complaining about it. And they go, all he had to do was because it was 2-0. They won 2-0, right? All he had to do was walk the bases loaded and then walk 2 runs in and then strike out the side. So the game continues, and then keep it going through the 8th inning, and then finish the game out in the 9th. So he gets, even though
we're talking about Madison Bumgarner. There was nobody happier to get off the mound after 7 innings than Madison Bumgarner.
This is true, yeah.
Especially 7 no-hit innings.
He was having flashbacks of 2016.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Or whenever it was, probably before that.
2014, actually.
Yeah,
14,
he was. That, quite honestly, was one of the best pitching performances I've ever seen.
He was Superman that
year.
He
was lights out. Lights out.
Not just in the World Series, too. All through the
playoffs.
All through the playoffs.
He was
absolutely.
Lights out.
I don't know. Look, baseball.
I'm happy for Bumgarner. I'm glad.
I am too.
You know, I mean, if maybe Tim Lincecum will have a bounce back here.
Maybe he will.
Well, listen, maybe he'll pitch 5, and then it'll be a rain out, and he won't get credit for a no hitter for that either.
Back to back no hitters for 12 innings. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, if you get back to back no hitters, and we almost had that, right? Didn't the Braves almost get no hit for two during a double hitter? Right? They had 1 hit, I think.
1 hit for 2 games.
And we almost had a Vandermeer, but it really wouldn't count because it was only 7 innings.
Right. Well, it doesn't count, right? Because they can say what they want. They can. I'm tired of it. If you're going to make a game 7 innings, all the if that's the scheduled game, I don't care whether it's 7 innings, 6 innings, 1 inning, 19 innings. Doesn't matter. Whatever the scheduled game is, that's your complete game for that day. So if somebody throws a no hitter, give them a no hitter. I think the pressure will come down and he'll wind up with his no hitter. I mean, I really do. I don't think it's going to continue with that, but I think
I don't know. I mean, they might change the rule, but
I think
it won't be till the end of the year. Listen,
whatever. Who cares right now? Change it.
No, that's what I'm saying.
It's not going to mean anything during the year. It just
he can do about
history.
it.
So
take the win and go home.
If baseball wants to wonder why it's dying on the vine, it's this.
Is baseball really dying on the vine? I don't think it is.
Yeah. Its popularity is dropping.
The word about is getting around there because people are saying that it is.
People said that about football. People have said that about.
No one ever said football is dying on the vine.
That's the last thing that's gonna.
Well, no one on this program ever said that.
No.
Well, my point is, this kind of bullshit isn't helping. All these ridiculous rule changes.
Out of any of the sports, though, and I can't stand what's happened to any of the big 3.
Right.
NFL is probably the least. I just can't stand watching it sometimes.
Right.
And I think
I don't watch hockey anymore.
No, but hockey hasn't really changed.
But I never watched it. So.
Yeah. I mean, I used to watch it when Mike Bossy and Brian Trottier were skating around, and the Rangers were doing Jordache commercials.
I'll watch when the playoffs come around.
Or Sassoon, I'm sorry.
Sassoon, yeah.
I think it was Sassoon, yeah.
Ooh la la.
Sassoon, yeah.
Sassoon.
All
right, I think that's all I had on the baseball.
Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps baseball up for today. But it's just the last word. Rob Manfred has way too much time on his hands to think of all these freaking stupid rules. That's all I'm saying. I've said it before, and I will keep saying it until something changes. Well,
but probably nothing's going to. If the owners are happy, right? That's what it's all about now. Manfred has no power. He has no independence. He works. The owners
really want a runner on second in extra innings.
If it ends the game, yeah, I guess so.
But why do they want to end the game? Don't they want to keep people in the stands and keep buying stuff at the concession stands?
In a doubleheader. No, hold on. But now doubleheader. In a doubleheader, that's 4 innings that people are not buying stuff.
Right.
At concession, 4 innings.
Yeah, but a lot of places they don't let you buy beer after. Like
the beer is not the big. The beer is not the big price.
It's the other
ticket item. It's
a lot of money for a beer. It's all the stuff.
It's the fact that people are going to the concession stands once now, as opposed to twice during the course of the game.
But the beer leads to a lot not with kids and
you bring a family there and you got 2 or 3 kids with you and their friends or so whatever. You're not buying them beers. You get one beer.
No, but you get beers and then you get thirsty, and then if you win, you're in a good mood and you're a little bit inebriated and you stop and buy a jersey on the way out that you probably would have normally because you wouldn't be half in the bag. So that's my theory.
There you go. That's true.
That's how I assume it works.
It's happened before.
Drunkenness leads to unfortunate
frivolous
spending, not just in baseball. But
I mean, if they really want to make the game interesting and faster, then have the mascots have to start at second base, and one of them has to be in the field. Or allow for a professional wrestler to guard home plate.
Right.
with the guy on second.
There you go.
I mean, if you really want to,
that would work. Make it interesting. Yeah. Well, like
I
said,
a lot of the catchers to block the plate again, Johnny Bench style.
Sure. Like I said it before, in the 10th inning, runner on second. If it goes to the 11th inning, runner on third. If it goes to the 12th inning, runner halfway between third and home, just waiting. So.
I think
goes to the 13th. You spot each team a run.
I think a mascot death match would be a fine way.
That'd be interesting. No extra innings, just the mascot death match.
Yeah, that'd be fine with me too.
9-inning game. It's tied. Get those guys out there.
A good game of dodgeball.
I'm thinking swords and pikes.
Jeez,
I don't even know what that is. I don't think I want to know.
It hurts if you get hit with it.
It sounds like a game that's only played at certain gentlemen's clubs.
Well,
I wouldn't want to go to those. So.
No pun intended.
Each their own.
You'd be turning over a lot of mascots.
There you go.
Yes.
All right. So now on. Oh no, we're skipping hockey. So we'll skip hockey.
Domingo Germán is 1 out away from pitching a complete game.
Wow.
Beautiful.
I thought you were going to say a perfect game. I was going to say what?
No, he's pitched 6.2 innings.
And the Mets are still losing 1-0. Oh, well, we have to do our. We have voluminous amounts of lists for things tonight, folks.
We have a list.
Well, are we just going to run the? I don't know.
We'll run through it.
If you like lists, folks, this is the show.
This is the time for you to watch.
Let's
keep
it brief. Let's keep it brief.
We'll keep our brief. I'm going to read. This is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to read the names, and you two mention any information. Right?
I'm not going to mention any stats or anything.
No. That's it. Okay.
I'll just go thumbs up or thumbs down.
There you go.
Yeah.
And all right. So last week we did our top New York Mets of all time by position. Tonight we're doing our top New York Yankees of all time by position. Here we go.
It's a lot harder.
It was a lot harder. Definitely was a lot harder. So here we go. So what we did, folks, we did 2 players for each position.
I don't think it was. I think it was easier.
We did 2 players for each position. Well, depending on what you're looking at. 2 players for each position, and including DH, and then we did 5 starting pitchers and 5 relief pitchers.
Well, with the Mets, there was 1 decent player in history at each position. With the Yankees, there was like 12.
Right.
Just because they've been around a lot.
There were some
but there were
positions
also
that
3 or 4 positions where there was just no doubt about it.
Right.
It was more a question of where do you put, 2, 3, or 4 or whatever.
Exactly.
Well, with the Mets, it was like, who played? I don't even remember anybody playing left field for the Mets. I don't know. That's why it was just Lee Mazzilli.
Lee Mazzilli for everything.
I'd put him honorable mention for Yankee first base, by the way.
There you go.
No.
Yes, you did. All right, here we go.
He was one of the few Mets that didn't come over to the Yankees at that time.
There was a lot that did. This is true. All right, so anyway, top New York Yankees of all time by position. Here we go. We're going to start with catcher. I'm going to give you 2 names. Catcher, Yogi Berra and Thurman Munson. Lawrence Peter Yogi Berra and Thurman Lee Munson.
Yankees have had some great catchers.
Yes, they have.
You could fill that list up with at least 2 more names easily.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. No one can hate Yogi Berra. I don't care where you're from.
Absolutely.
No.
You can't hate Yogi Berra. And Munson was on that short list of Yankees that I suppose somebody could hate him, but Munson on the short list of Yankees I really liked.
Sure. Absolutely. So, two incredibly great pitchers. One's career cut short tragically, but 2 incredibly great pitchers on a
catchers.
Catchers. Did I say?
They might have been pitchers.
I think I thought I said catchers.
Well, they were good little league pitchers.
They were.
They were. In a plethora of amazing catchers in the team. So anyway, Yogi Berra and Thurman Munson. All right, moving on to first base would be Lou Gehrig and Donnie Baseball, Don Mattingly. Gentlemen?
Yeah, I mean, somebody you could argue is maybe one of the best baseball players of all time in Gehrig. And, again, Mattingly was one of those guys. I think as I look back on Mattingly, his numbers were pretty astounding. And he sort of was his batting style was really kind of groundbreaking as well. He had an interesting batting style, which you see a lot more guys that came up after him adopting. But, the big thing with Don is that he was never on a Yankee championship team.
Right.
And, that
certainly wasn't his fault.
No, not at all.
It wasn't for lack of trying.
No.
And one more year, he would have been.
Well, yeah, and you could say, look, he had a short window of greatness, but man, I mean, that greatness was
He played a long time.
Yeah.
And I'll say he's a pretty good manager as well. So,
This is true. All right. Number. I mean, go with the numbers again.
Number
first base. Lou Gehrig and Donnie Baseball. All right. Moving on to second base. Second base, we have Tony Lazzeri and Willie Randolph. Anthony Michael Lazzeri and Willie Larry Randolph.
I mean, maybe two of the most underrated baseball players in the history of the game, at one position.
Yeah.
And, Randolph was just so solid. I mean, obviously none of us were around to watch Lazzeri play, but great numbers, and both were solid defensive infielders. And blue collar. Willie Randolph was kind of a blue collar player. When the Yankees were winning and/or challenging for championships in the late '70s, Dent and Randolph, or who's the other shortstop? Brian Doyle, they weren't really. They were timely hitters who understood baseball and very rarely made bad plays in the field.
Yep.
Yeah.
Randolph is a great defensive second baseman and just a class act.
Yeah. That was really the thing for me. Class act, solid, great defensive player. And of course got a raw deal from the Mets.
Yeah.
So,
and by the way, going back to first base, when Tino Martinez doesn't make your top two, first baseman of all time, that's when you've had a pretty good. I mean, Mark Teixeira. There's been some Chris Chambliss. There's been some pretty good Yankee first baseman.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So second base, Tony Lazzeri and Willie Randolph. Moving on to jump to third base. We have Alex Rodriguez and Greg Nettles. Alexander Emmanuel Rodriguez and Greg Nettles. Nickname.
He took his maiden name back, right? It's no longer Alex Lowe.
It's not Alex Lowe. No, it's not A Lowe. He's got that. He's got the rod back. He's got his rod back. So
maybe that was the problem. Who knows?
Yeah, this is true.
Greg Nettles, one of the prettiest defensive players you'll ever see.
Sure.
Play in the hot corner, and a timely hitter. I mean, I think Nettles was a pretty good slugger, and he certainly took advantage of that short porch in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
One of the Yankees had a lot of lefty power hitters back in that era.
Nettles eye-popping defense, kind of Brooks Robinson kind of where you just go, what was that? How could he do that again and again and again, robbing so many guys of what would have been doubles and triples down the line?
Yeah.
And, listen, A-Rod was no slouch, and he was, he is who he is, and a great hitter, and he took steroids, but not when he was with the Yankees, probably.
No.
Yeah. So
he's A-Rod. I like him in the work he does.
MLB Network or Fox, right? Fox.
Yeah, I think it's for Fox. I think he does a pretty good job.
I think he does a pretty good job as well.
There were a lot of things that you could hate about him, even as a Yankee fan, I would think. Coming from Seattle and all that, those kind of old wounds, but.
He had a couple years there where he just didn't show up in the postseason until he did, and he had that one good postseason. The Yankees won, World Series with him, and
that was the reason they went and got him.
Absolutely,
one of the reasons they were like, we got to win.
And he had some monster years with the Yankees. Sure. I mean, people I think he sort of gets a short shrift about just how. The numbers that he put up in his career. I mean, pretty spectacular.
Yeah. Crazy. So, Alex Rodriguez and Greg Nettles. All right. So, we'll move on to shortstop.
But he has less championships than Scott Brocious.
He does have less championships than Scott Brocious. He does.
Brocious just hit a home run off me for a game winner in Nintendo baseball the other night. I beamed him the next 6 times.
So you're actually playing softball with Scott Brocious.
You were bowling with Scott Brocious. It's just a great podcast, by the way.
Major League Baseball 2000.
Isn't that a podcast itself, Bowling with Scott Brocious?
Yes, it is.
That's the title of the podcast.
You just all you hear pins going down the hall.
That's it. No talking. You just hear the ball in the alley.
Yeah,
but, my friend
he
Nick,
sucks, but in the 10th frame, he's fantastic.
Exactly.
My friend Nick, who is blind, he's a radio guy, and he listens to golf on the radio. And he says it's a very interesting experience.
It's very calming.
All right. I'm sure it is. All right. So we'll move on to shortstops. Gee, I wonder who these could be. All right. Derek Jeter and Phil Rizzuto. Derek Sanderson Jeter and Philip Francis Rizzuto. There you go. What can you say about these guys?
Yeah, I mean, Derek Jeter's the one guy who I think breaks through, and he's when you talk about the top 5 Yankees of all time, I think Derek Jeter's probably in that list. Mm-hmm. So, and Phil Rizzuto was
Phil Rizzuto might have been in that list until
might have been in that list.
Yeah.
And the thing, especially with people our age or slightly younger, is we know Rizzuto is the voice of the Yankees, and he was great. He was,
sure,
he's the only guy who could get really excited and think that a pop out to second base was a home run off the bat.
Yeah. Well, we also know him as the radio voice in the Meatloaf song and
sure.
The Money Store. Right?
Holy cow! I think he's gonna make it.
Yeah, he was great.
And I think it was DiMaggio that did Mr. Coffee, right? That was.
DiMaggio did Mr. Coffee. Yeah.
Okay. I used to sit, as a kid with my transistor radio, and that was that's what I listened to more Yankee games than I watched. I wasn't supposed to be listening to him, but Phil Rizzuto and Bill White. And
I used to love when he would just call him by his last name.
Right.
He's stolen a number of doubles from players this season. They're White.
Yeah, Bill White was. What a great announcer!
Oh my God, Bill White was great.
And I never understood. I never understood why on the radio you would hear him for certain innings and not other innings. And then I realized later on that is because they were going back and forth between the radio and television broadcasts. So. But yeah, Scooter. And I'll tell you what, he would not be happy with people's inability to bunt these days. I think up until his 70s, he was still teaching the Yankees how to bunt. Probably the best bunter the game's ever seen.
Sure, absolutely. Crazy. So, all right, well, there you go.
That's Jeter, not Rizzuto.
Jeter, yes. Phil Rizzuto was not the best punter. And, of course, and any of the haven't really seen Phil Rizzuto, too. Of course, you can know his name from the Adam Sandler movie when Adam Sandler couldn't spell Rizzuto. So, cursive.
There we go.
Z's 1T.
Exactly. So there you go. Derek Jeter and Phil Rizzuto. Okay, we'll move out to the outfield. Left field, we have Charlie Keller and Bob Musil. Charles Ernest Keller and Robert William Musil are the 2 left fielders for the Yankees, and they're there's been plenty of you can plug anybody in here. You can make a case for a couple other people too, but these guys, just look at the numbers that they put up. They were you're talking about old time players. You're talking about Charlie Keller played 1939 and 1949 with the Yankees, and then
did he leave for 2 years to go to war?
He left for 1944 and part of 45 to go to war. Yeah, and then he came back. And Bob Musil was even earlier than that. Bob Musil was on the Yankees for the entire decade of the 20s. So you got some old school players here. One of them was playing 100 years ago, right now. But yeah, just the numbers that they put up, you can't really argue that these guys.
What one critique you could say of the Yankees is they really haven't brought in a good left fielder since the 40s.
Well, 70s.
Not that they haven't brought in it.
They had a bunch of good ones in this. Well, the guy who sort of made it to my list in third place, tied for third place. I think had he played a couple more years, Hideki Matsui. He did. Yeah,
there were guys on the cusp.
Yeah,
sure.
But Bobby Munzer for years and in the 77, 78 to 80 seasons, the Yankees had a lot of really good players like Oscar Gamble and Lou Piniella and Roy White, who all seemed to platoon and move back and forth between left and sometimes center with Gamble. But Yeah, they have not had a killer left fielder.
Gamble was also pretty good DH too. At the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's some people that put Gardner on this list as far as top 5 or 6 left fielders of all time.
Well, you can't go wrong with Gotti.
No,
Booney loves him,
but yeah,
Judgy loves him too.
Judgy, Booney, Gotti, Corky, yeah,
Or Shelley.
There you go.
Shelley, they dropped that, or it's just Shelley.
Shelley,
right.
yeah, Shelley, yeah.
The Muse,
yeah.
Shelley loves him some Bob Muesli.
Exactly.
Bob Muesli, it's really good to take in the morning. It helps keep you regular.
Yeah. A little bit of almond milk, and you're good to go.
You're good to go. It just goes right out. There you go. Got a couple of comments to catch up on. They did your job. Can't deny that. I'm sure they're talking about Yankees right now. This is Chuck Aaron, owner of Jersey Girl Brewing. Guest occasional on the Craft Beer podcast. And he says, hate them or love them, they got the job done. So obviously you're talking about the list we're talking about. And he goes back to the Scott Brocious comment, Nintendo Rocka.
There we go. I know. Losing to Brocious, it was tough.
He meant rocks, but I had to put Rock up. Nintendo rocks. So, and then he asked this question, too. He said, listens to golf?
Yeah.
There you go. So
that's, what can I tell you? I don't know where he finds it, but he's got his sources.
And then he put up the money store too. That was another
Phil Rizzuto for the money store.
For the money
Which,
store.
I mean, if that didn't seem like a mob front, Phil Rizzuto for the money store.
Phil Rizzuto was selling everything, wasn't he? Didn't he?
He did a lot of endorsements, yeah.
Didn't he also, after DiMaggio left, didn't he do some coffee thing? Or maybe it wasn't Mr. Coffee.
Like it was Sanka, wasn't it?
Sanka or something, yeah.
In case you don't have a Mr. Coffee like DiMaggio.
Holy cow, this coffee is incredible.
Holy cow,
I need a cup of coffee, but I've only got 40
These flavor crystals have me going.
I wish there's a way I could just pour some water in a cup and get coffee. I
wish I could just have some flavor crystals that could sit in the cabinet for 6 years.
And never
be
change.
Just as good as the day they were made.
That's
exactly. Right. Gotta love freeze dry.
Never quite dissolve.
Thank
you. Some flavor crystals stuck in my lower intestine.
It never goes bad. Never goes good.
That's why you go to the money store.
Never goes bad. Never gets good, but never goes bad. 3 cup
of Sanka flavor crystals if you go to the money store.
Right.
Not by the money store and get yourself a pound of Sanka.
I mean, when I think of Channel 11, WPIX in New York, I just think of Phil Rizzuto and Cookie Puss. That's who I think of.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta love it, absolutely. And you know what? I think somebody really missed the boat back in the day because they should have named a milk company Holy Cow.
That's right.
Right? Just had Phil Rizzuto for it. That's it. Phil Rizzuto for Holy Cow Milk. So,
or Phil Rizzuto for Cookie Puss.
Phil Rizzuto.
Cookie-O Rizzuto.
Cookie-O Rizzuto.
Rizzuto Puss.
Rizzuto Puss. You gotta love it. All right.
Rizzuto the caramel whale.
Rizzuto the caramel whale.
Cookie-O Puss.
Oh, God. Where have we gone? All right.
I don't know.
So, left field, Charlie Keller.
Now I'm hungry.
And Bob Musil. There we go. All right. Let's move on to center field. Center field should be no shock to anybody with Jolton Joe and the Mick. Joe DiMaggio.
Mickey Rivers. Oh, no, Mickey
Rivers.
Mickey Rivers was a good center fielder.
Mickey Rivers is on my short list.
Joseph Paul. Yeah, Mickey Rivers, yeah. Joseph Paul DiMaggio, Jolton Joe, or the Yankee Clipper. And then, of course, we had Mickey Charles Mantle.
Probably two of the most iconic sports.
You know what the other nickname of Mickey was? Not the Mick. He was also the
drunk.
Well, I have no idea.
Only to his closest friends. The Commerce Comet.
Commerce
Comet. Yeah.
Mickey Mantle for the Commerce Comet. It doesn't quite
work.
Roll off like the money store.
You gotta love it.
The Commerce Comet for the money store.
All you need is the Mick. That's all you need right there.
So. I was online yesterday, and I don't know why it came up on my feed, but it was the official music video for me and Julio down by the schoolyard.
Okay.
Which I had never seen before. And it's Paul Simon in the schoolyard playing stickball with a bunch of kids, and they're doing double dutch. And lo and behold, the reason I bring it up is at the end of the video, there's Mickey Mantle.
He didn't realize he was there.
He didn't. He probably didn't.
He was just walking by.
Sleeping one off in the behind.
And Paul Simon is pitching. Mantle's got the stick, and he swings and misses at the first pitch, and then he hits the second pitch, and it goes out of the playground or whatever.
Out of the schoolyard.
Out of the schoolyard. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. I was drawing a blank there. And I don't know why that came up, but perhaps it was not only when you say something is your phone or your computer listening to you and then starts putting up stuff like that. Now they're being precognizant of it.
Exactly.
Now, like,
they
this
know
guy's
what
going
you're
to be
going to
talking
think
about
of.
Mickey Mantle tomorrow. Did you know, Peter M. Minetti, that Mickey Mantle was in the official video for Paul Simon's Me and Julio Down by the Schoolyard, which was in, who knows, 1974 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that. Well, now I know that.
There you go.
And now you guys know it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I did not know that. I did not know that.
And tell me that's weird because
I did not know that.
Here we are talking, and I did type Mickey Mantle into an email.
Yeah, you know,
sometime before that video came up on my YouTube.
There you go. So that might have worked.
No one's ever gonna. I mean, I don't see anybody.
That's kind of an odd connection.
Yankee.
Now, I can see if you typed in Paul Simon.
Searched for Mickey Mantle. Well, yeah, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they're getting. Not that I'm a conspiracy theorist, but.
Nothing conspiratorial about it. They're doing it, and they're letting you know.
It is.
You're not crazy.
We actually did that. We did it like a month ago. I sat and there was a couple of us, and I just had my phone out. It wasn't on. It was just sitting there, and we had it on, off, went back and forth, and just started saying something over and over and over again that I never searched, never went for, never looked at, never even thought of before. And about within a half an hour, it popped up as an ad on my Facebook feed.
Yeah,
we know that your Facebook ads are porter stouts and nipple clamps, John. It's okay.
Of course. But it wasn't one of those. That's my point. You know,
getting back to this list, I just want to add that it's everybody's top two if they ever watched one inning of baseball is going to be these two guys. I will say that a clear number 3 for me on this list is Bernie Williams.
Oh yeah, Bernie Williams,
and maybe one of the most underappreciated Yankees of all time, and right up there with Munson as far as how the hell is he not in the Hall of Fame list?
Right. No.
Yeah, I actually when I saw your list, I thought we were doing 2, but I said, well, maybe we'll do 3, and we'll do 3, and I think he was my. Was he my thing? Might have been my third.
I think it's
pretty
for everybody.
clear.
I mean, I have a second team listed. We'll read through it later. But Bernie Williams is on that. That's
I kind of just say though, and I want to be objective here. Not that great a guitar player.
No, I would agree.
I've actually seen
better than Mickey Mantle.
I actually saw him. I saw him live play guitar, and he wasn't really that bad. I got to be honest with you.
He's not bad.
No, he's not bad.
I saw him live, and
didn't he play Paul Reed Smith?
He played I believe he did PRS. Yeah.
I think he got more press because he was Bernie Williams than because he was a good guitar.
I saw him play. He did.
He's good. He's not great.
It was actually I saw him do his stuff, and then actually Rascal Flatts came out, and he actually sat in with them and played guitar.
I'd rather listen to Bernie Williams tune his guitar
Rascal Flatts
inside a dumpster filled with Indian food leftovers and listen to John Mayer play the Grateful Dead. So there's something.
Well, listen, I don't know if you remember when he opened for the Vinnie Vincent Invasion.
Right.
That was quite a tour.
Vinnie Vincent.
Talk about contrasting styles. I mean,
did Vinnie Vincent play center field for the Yankees?
He did for a short time in 1 year.
Maybe during the strike shortened season.
Exactly. During the strike.
Or whatever. Yeah, during the strike. He might have been a replacement.
Exactly.
Well, I'm not good at guitar. I always wanted to play baseball.
Right.
That's right.
He might have been on the team. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So center field, Joe DiMaggio and Mickey Mantle.
We were doing well till we got to the outfield.
We were.
Yeah,
the
no, we
outfield
were.
Just went right down there. So there you go. All right, moving over to right field. We still got all the pitchers to do.
Yeah,
we could breeze through them a little.
We can breeze through the pitchers. Yeah. Right field. Here we go. Babe Ruth and Reggie Jackson. I don't think there's any shock there.
The only two, interestingly enough, I think the only two players that candy bars have ever been named after or made after on the Yankees.
Oh yeah.
Well, Baby Ruth and the Reggie Bar.
Baby Ruth and the Reggie Bar. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
There was that short time where they had the O'Neill Crunch.
Oh, and they have the Dirty Sanchez, but it's not candy.
Well, to some people it is.
I mean that is true. It is very true. You can't deny that.
So. The O'Neill candy bar was a shot of Jaeger.
It was a shot of Jaeger. Yeah, actually, it's true. It really was. But I'm just doing something.
Yeah, I mean, Paul O'Neill, Dave Winfield, the list goes on. The Yankees have had some pretty, and they got a guy who, by all accounts, should be on this list at some point, at some time, but playing in right field now, or not tonight, because I don't know, he needs to rest or something.
Rest a little bit. Yeah, he needs to rest a bit.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. But yeah, I mean,
Reggie Jackson used to start fights with the manager. Talk about firing a team up.
Did Reggie Jackson start fights with the manager? Or the manager start fights with Reggie Jackson?
Probably a little bit of both.
A little bit of both, I think.
Yeah.
So, but there you go.
Yeah, that guy Babe Ruth was pretty good. From what
he was. I've heard. Yeah, George Herman.
Yeah, he was all right. He was all right.
Yeah, I heard.
Well, listen, that's. Shohei Ohtani could go on to have a wonderful, stellar career as a pitcher and a hitter, and they would still say, "Well, he's no Babe Ruth."
He's no Babe Ruth, yeah.
And they'll probably be right.
They'll probably be right, yeah.
Absolutely
because,
right, yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of people who know, Babe Ruth was a pitcher before he was a great hitter, but they don't realize that he was a
he was a great hitter, yeah.
Right? But he was a great pitcher. He
right.
wasn't just a pitcher; he was a phenomenal pitcher
who also played every day in between. In the field, between
that's what I mean. That's why I want to see Ohtani do that. Exactly. I would love to see somebody else do that.
I would love to see. I mean, it's never going to happen in this day and age, obviously, but I would love to see DeGrom do that. I mean, and he can. I mean, DeGrom was
even Kershaw was a pretty good hitter. I mean, back in the 70s and 80s, you saw some pitchers who could.
Yeah.
The pitchers can't field it today.
No, they can't. DeGrom was a shortstop. I mean, in college, he was a shortstop. So
yeah.
But there you go. Right field, Babe Ruth, George Herman Ruth, and Reggie Jackson. There we go. All right. Let's move on to DH, designated hitter. Here we go. Jason Giambi and Don Baylor. What can you say about these guys? I actually had Jason Giambi and Oscar Gamble as my two, but the two of you put Mr. Don Baylor.
I think
so
Baylor and Gamble.
Gamble was a DH, but he was before he became a DH. He was an outfielder. Sure. I don't think you want either of these guys fielding a ball.
This is true. If you look at it like that, you're probably right. Yeah.
They were both first basemen.
It wasn't an easy.
No.
Baylor and Gamble wasn't an easy call for me. That took a little bit of that was a little bit of debate there.
Don Baylor, if you just needed somebody to get on base, Baylor would just step in front of a pitch at any time and take a 90-mile-an-hour heater to the side of the head and just walk to first.
And then walk down to first base. Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, Baylor was good for a long time there. And, he played, late 70s into the 80s. He was, he kind of was one of those guys who seemed to be on the Yankees for quite some time, but moved around quite a bit. And Giambi, the same thing. But Giambi made the most of his time with the Yankees. He had some pretty incredible numbers.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah.
Well,
wild times with the Giambinator.
Yeah,
the Giambinator.
Yeah, I mean,
some of the best stories about that era and things that were going into people's bodies involved and nightly exploits involved Jason Giambi.
Exactly.
Yeah, he was an interesting character.
And
I say good for him. Why not?
Yeah.
What the hell? Well, there you go. Jason Giambi and Don Baylor are designated hitters. There we go. All right, let's move on to the pitchers. This one should come as no shock. Starting pitcher one, we have Whitey Ford. Edward Charles Whitey Ford, chairman of the board. He's just passed away last October.
That he did?
Right, that's right.
At 91 years old. Or young, however you want to look at it.
Yeah, if you were wanted to have a baseball player's life, Whitey Ford would be a pretty good one to have.
Sure. That's for sure. Whole career with the Yankees. So, you had that. And, you can't say enough about Whitey.
How many World Series championships for the Mr. Whitey?
6.
6. And he played in 11, right?
Played in 11.
Yep. And I think he was pretty good in just about all of them too, right?
Pretty much.
Imagine
his postseason numbers are pretty phenomenal.
Yeah. Imagine any pitcher today playing in 11, making it to be able to play in 11
World Series and winning 6 of them. Yeah, winning more than
crazy. Just crazy.
There you go.
It does say something about.
You could see 6 over the course of somebody's career, but usually that means he's bouncing around and hitting a couple of.
No, I don't even think you're going to see 6 anymore.
And you could. I'm saying 6 is possible, and not winning all of them either, but just bouncing around and hitting his team and whatever. But
is that more that Whitey Ford was just an incredible pitcher, or just there really weren't that many good teams, and he happened to be on one of the good ones?
Well, I think there was a lot of good teams. He just happened to be on a team that was really, really dominant.
Just better than everybody else.
Just better than everybody else.
Yeah. And but they got beat with him pitching 5 times in the World Series. So yeah, you could say that about the Yankees were in the World Series a lot, but they did lose their fair share. I mean, they've won 28 championships. I get all that, but they've also probably lost more than anybody else. So
that's for sure. They definitely have. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
Starting pitcher 1, Whitey Ford. We'll move on to starting pitcher 2, Mr. Ron Guidry.
Louisiana Lightning, the Gator.
Louisiana Lightning.
On my
short list.
To me, that I think it was 77, the year that he had when he went. What was it? 27-3.
He had a lot of games.
I know some people will argue with me, but that was the most dominant year I've ever witnessed watching a starting pitcher have in my time watching baseball. You could take Pedro, you could take Clemens at his best, even with the Yankees, with the Red Sox, Randy Johnson, fill in the blanks. That is the most dominant year I've ever seen a pitcher have.
Sure.
And DeGrom reminds me a little bit of Guidry. I don't know what it is. It's probably the fact that they're both so dominant and don't give up runs at all. They're very stingy pitchers. But Guidry is pretty amazing. He didn't quite have the postseason numbers that you would expect. He got bailed out a little bit in the postseason, but an incredible pitcher.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, you can't say more than that about it.
He's. I say he was on my short list.
On yours, yeah.
One of those guys.
Ron Guidry. All right, move on to.
I'm sure he's happy to know that.
I'm sure he will be as soon as he watches.
Right now,
he's tweeting about this right now.
No, he watches the podcast live, so he'll be tweeting about it.
Thank God I made it to Pete's short list. Now I can tell like a happy man.
Exactly. So, all right, starting pitcher 3, we have Lefty Gomez.
Who ironically wasn't a lefty.
No.
Vernon Lewis Lefty Gomez. There you go.
Do you think his name came first and then he had to just become a lefty just because they named him that?
Yeah.
Well, actually, his name was Righty.
That's right.
He was righty, but then he was batting and throwing left, so he had to switch.
His name was Righty Ford.
There were 4 other guys in his family all named Righty, and he said, I don't want to be a righty.
I'm going to be a lefty, yes.
I'm not grandpa, I'm not dad, I'm not cousin Righty.
No, right.
I'm me, and I want to be
All right, Lefty, Booney, and Judgy, and Munchie, and
Judgy,
Juju, and they're all happy for you.
Doing very well on the nickname.
Well, you call them when you put your list together, Pete. You put Whitey and Lefty and Ronnie and so, but and then you also put this one, the next one on our list, of course, Lefty Gomez being 3rd. Our 4th one is Red Ruffing. You put Ruffy, I believe.
Ruffy,
Ready.
Yeah. I assume they called him that.
Charles Herbert Red Ruffing. There you go.
What a great name, Red Ruffing. It also sounds like a kid's game or something that you would play.
Red Ruffing.
Go out into the playground and play a game of Red Ruffin.
Yeah, this guy could have run any business. He could have had car dealerships. He could have had a painting.
Could have been a mobster. You never know.
Yeah, he could have been. He could have definitely could have been in trucking. You want to learn to drive?
Name too.
Come to Red Ruffin's truck driver school.
Red Ruffin's Roofing.
Red Ruffin's Roofing.
Hackensack, New Jersey.
There you go. I think it was actually in Hackensack, if I recall.
Right.
Yep, there we go. But Red Ruffing. He played back in the.
He played before roofs existed.
He did. No, he played same thing though. He left for a little bit. He was on Boston for a while first, and then he played for 12 years, 13 years with the Yankees. Left for a couple of years to pursue other things going on, if you will. And then he
fought the Germans.
He fought the Germans.
Came back. Pitched 37 complete games in 1 month.
In one day.
1 month.
37 complete games.
He went 27-10.
Never left the mound. Just stood out there. Just kept throwing the ball.
Pitched every day for a month. Threw six of those
and only lost one game.
It
only one shoe.
Exactly.
Once he was done roughing up the Germans,
he was back roughing up the Giants.
That's right.
So actually, they didn't have interleague play back then, so it wouldn't have been the Giants anyway.
Yeah,
Anyway, all right. So starting pitcher number 4 was Red Ruffing. Okay, and number 5 would be Mr. Andy Pettitte. Andrew Eugene Pettitte. And he has something in common with the first pitcher on our list. They're both tied for first in games started for the Pinstripes. That'll be 438.
Old Andy Pettitte looking through the glove.
There you go.
Yep. Says he learned that from Clemens, I think.
I think he did.
Keep your face hidden. Probably learned to take HGH from Clemens too, but
yeah.
Listen, it worked for him, so
it certainly did.
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, I kind of have to say I sort of believed Andy Pettitte when he said I just took it to try and help recover from injury.
I think him and Clemens both did because they were, I mean, they say for pitchers it really was about recovery.
Right.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of players it was too. Yeah. So is stealing signs, and they got caught. I'm sure Mike Piazza was taking something.
I don't know if you saw that. Yeah, absolutely.
Cocaine's
I don't know if you saw it. Well, listen, that's Hernandez is in trouble for that one. Half the Mets are in trouble for that one.
That was perfect. But I mean, back before that era in the 70s, I mean, that was a performance-enhancing drug. It's
a true story.
Well, yeah.
There were so many players doing
it. What is George Carlin does a bit about the greenies? Give me the greenies. The uppers.
Yeah.
Speaking of stealing signs, I guess they caught, Bauer and Tatis had a little back and forth. Seems friendly and respectful, I wasn't mean-spirited, but I guess they caught Tatis kind of taking a peek at the sign for one of those home runs. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, Bauer was because I think it was after he hit the second one, as he was running the bases, he covered his eye, making a joke about the pitching with one eye closed.
Yeah.
And so they had a little bit of a Twitter back and forth, but again, it wasn't nasty or angry or anything. It was, but yeah, they looked at the tape later on and they caught him taking a peek at the catcher for one of those home runs. So
that's pretty funny.
He just kind of shrugged it off, though. Anyway, back to Andy Pettitte.
Andy Pettitte, yes.
Andy Pettitte always pitched with two eyes open.
Always pitched. Yes, he did.
Isn't he like career? He's got to be up there in as far as for the Yankees, like postseason numbers, right?
I think he leads.
Pettitte, like always great in like most appearances. Like he was always good in the postseason.
He was great. He was really clutch. Him and El Duque.
Oh yeah. Orlando. All right. So there you go. Starting pitcher number 5 would be Mr. Andy Pettitte. All right, let's move on to our relief pitchers. And of course, this one comes as no shock. It would be Mariano Rivera, or the Sandman, if you so choose. No other names but Mariano Rivera, so I can't give you a middle name on this one. But yeah, I mean, none of us need to say anything about this guy.
Yeah, he's the best. He's the best relief pitcher baseball's ever seen.
Yeah. So, end of story. Plain and simple. We can move on because there's nothing else to say. There you go. Mariano Rivera. Number 2. The Sandman. Number 2 would be Mr. Goose Gossage. Richard Michael Gossage, to be exact. He played for he played for the Yankees for a while. A couple of stints. Came back in '89 too. He played from '78 to '83. But he pitched in a lot of places. He pitched for the White Sox, the Pirates, the Padres, the Giants, the Cubs, the Rangers, the Athletics, the Mariners. So he bounced around a lot over a 23-year career. So, but
Colorado Springs guy. There's a baseball field named after him, and Gossage was so good that there might be another name on this list. He kind of bumped somebody else out of, as much like Mariano bumped what's his name out of John Wetland out of the closing role. Gossage bumped Sparky Lyle out of that role.
Yes, he did.
Height of his career. So I mean, Gossage was scary. That mustache, and he was a big dude on the mound.
Great pitcher, and he didn't just come in and pitch one inning too. He would get close out games like 2-3 innings with regular.
He'd come into the 7th and close out the game.
Yeah, he was kind of one of the original relief pitchers in a lot of ways.
Right. And by a number of accounts, a dick.
Well, I don't know.
Kind of a dick as far as his personality goes. But listen, that was sort of his edge. And it doesn't matter.
I guess,
if you get the job done on the field, that's all that counts. But
there you go. All right, relief pitcher number 2, Mr. Goose Gossage. Moving on to relief pitcher number 3, we got the man he just said, Sparky Lyle, Albert Walter Lyle. Sparky Lyle. He pitched for the Yankees up till during the same season as Goose got there, and got kicked out. Same thing as Harry just said, but pretty lights out relief pitcher. Yeah,
great pitcher. Came over with Reggie, right, from the A's. So he won two World Series with the A's, right?
He did not actually.
He only won one.
He came from the Red Sox.
Oh, the Red Sox. I thought who am I thinking of? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Somebody came over with Reggie from the A's. I'm not sure who it was. I know what you're talking about, but it was not Mr. Lyle. It was he came from the Red Sox. He was on the Red Sox for 5 years.
Another good steal from the Red Sox. By the way, the Yankees won 7-0.
And the Mets lost 1-0.
Shock.
So things are as they should be. Yeah, Sparky Lyle, a name I definitely knew, was surprised at his numbers. I really, knew he was a good pitcher, but
him and Gossage kind of looked alike.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
a little
with
bit.
The stash.
The stash. It was the stash. Yeah, but Goose Gossage had a little bit of the chops going down.
Yeah, more going down.
More going down for it, but yeah, very.
The Fu Manchu.
Yeah, exactly.
Sparky Lyle had more of a early, Raleigh fingers.
Right. Yes, he did. So, all right.
Next week. Join us next week for top 10 mustaches.
Top 10 mustaches in the American League. We'll do the National League the week after.
Very different American League mustaches.
Very definitely, it's totally different. You have to know them. So There you go. All right, relief pitcher number 4, Mr. David Allen Righetti. Dave
Righetti was a starting pitcher. Was a starter, right?
I think he just
started as a starting pitcher.
Yeah, he was like the 5th or 6th best starting pitcher, and it was either go to the bullpen or go down to the minors, I guess. So he said, "I'll go to the bullpen." He went to
the bullpen. He went to the bullpen to replace Goose Gossage when Goose Gossage left.
There you go.
So,
and he had
Rags, right?
Had a pretty damn good career in the bullpen too.
He did. He definitely did. Played through 90 with the Yankees, and then bounced around a little bit with the Giants, the A's, the Blue Jays, and the White Sox, a year each-ish. But Mr. Dave Righetti. Rags, exactly. That would be him. Any other interesting anecdotes about Mr. Dave Righetti?
Again, he was part of the Yankees stretch, though, and they were good, but just couldn't get over the hump to win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I heard that he liked spaghetti.
He does, and I think he won a World Series championship as a pitching coach, right?
He also, and he won the stickball competition down on Prince Street, Prince Spaghetti Day
there you go.
competition. Exactly. So,
there you go.
All right. There you go. Number 4, Dave Righetti. And relief pitcher, finally, relief pitcher number 5, we have all the way back, throwback to the 30s and 40s. We have Mr. Johnny Murphy. John Joseph Murphy.
He played without a mitt. No pants on occasion.
He was so good he didn't need one.
He didn't need a mitt, and he really didn't need the pants either. What I heard.
Well, he wanted to get a nice,
just a dangle bag.
That's it, right? So he wore strap.
Well, they wanted to make sure he wasn't doctoring up the ball.
Exactly. Which one?
They wanted to keep an eye on his rosin bag.
He used to keep a can of Chinol in his back pocket, so they said no back pockets.
Now you just wipe your hands on your rosin bag there, Johnny.
He definitely had to wipe his hands on his rosin bag, that's for sure. But he played for the Yankees for 1932, took 33 off.
Just
I think
took
he had,
it
he took
kind of like
yeah,
Kevin Durant.
He opened the money store before Rizzuto. So he needed the time.
Well, the bank back then.
It was a bank back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, listen, that was he said, I want pants, and they said no, and he said, well, then I'm not going to play.
Well, I thought he started
And
with
then a
pants,
year
and then
later,
39, he came back with just his dangle bag. It was pinstripe, so it was fine.
It was pinstriped. It was fine. Yeah, exactly. You're good.
Makes everything look longer.
yeah.
The pitch you throw.
Also has a slimming effect, though.
That's right.
There you go.
It makes it look longer, but also thinner.
Anyway, on that note, that's our relief pitcher.
Johnny
number
Murphy.
5, Johnny
Johnny Murphy.
Murphy. So once again through it, our catchers. Just kidding. I will mention though that our second team, like we said, first base was Tino Martinez. Second base, we actually had Robbie Cano.
Robbie Cano was a good player.
He was a great Yankee, yeah.
And third base, Fred Rolfe. Frank Cristetti at shortstop, Roy White in left field, Bernie Williams, of course, in center field, Paul O'Neill in right field. We talked about Oscar Gamble. Starting pitcher, Roger Clemens, really.
He should have been, I think, in the should have added a sixth starter.
We could have added a sixth for that. Yeah, I mean, his numbers over the time he was at the Yankees was
pretty incredible,
crazy. Yeah,
his numbers over his whole career were really good.
His whole career too, but I mean, just specifically with the Yankees, was he definitely leads in throwing broken bats.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely leads in that category.
Also, used syringes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, no, he sells them, didn't he?
That was Barry Bonds.
Oh, it's Barry Bonds.
No, it's his,
and then, of course,
his trainer that sells them.
Sure. And then relief pitcher Jeff Nelson too.
Yeah, Jeff Nelson was. You remember Nelson, and how about Mendoza as the setup guy for all those years, and the Yankees had some good John Wetland.
Sure.
Some pretty good relievers over the years. Mendoza gets forgotten. That guy was.
Yeah, Ramiro Mendoza really gets forgotten. He was a good setup guy. He really was.
Crazy, but pretty solid. Just how many times did that guy get through 2 innings before, you got to Mariano?
Exactly.
It's crazy.
It was, and then we missed like shortstop back when Bucky Dent, Hideki Matsui. There's just, I mean, the list can go on and on. The Yankees have been around so long, you can have 4 and 5 people in each position that really should be up there. So, and I didn't mention the second team catcher because that's going to bring us to our next section, after we do our lists, and that would be old balls.
Old balls.
Why don't you tell us, Harry, who our old balls is tonight, and why I didn't mention the catcher for?
Well, it just happens to be. Imagine that our old balls recipient is a Yankee catcher by the name of Bill Dickey.
There he is.
Bill Dickey. It's the Yankees have had some great catchers. I mean, he was with the Yankees from 28 to 43 and then came back in 1946. I think at the age of like 38 and 39, he went to war and then came back for a year. I mean, it was just crazy.
Yeah, went off to war.
He had a career batting average of .313, which is just incredible. He had over 1,200 RBIs and home runs. He was a hell of a defensive second baseman. And just think about the teams that he caught for. But he was an 11-time All-Star, 7-time World Series champion, and including, I think, 4 in a row from 36 to 39.
Yep.
Came back and won 41, 43. It probably would have had another. I think the Yankees won the World Series one of the years that he had gone off to war. So I mean,
I believe you're right,
yeah. I mean, his number's retired by the Yankees, number 8, and I'm guessing he's in the Baseball Hall of Fame. But I mean, look, if you're looking at Yogi Berra, Bill Dickey, Thurman Munson, Jorge Posada, the Yankees have had, I think, at least 4, Hall of Fame catchers on their team, and he was playing in the shadows of Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig and Joe DiMaggio, but he had some of the best offensive numbers by a catcher ever, hitting over 20 home runs at 100 RBIs in 4 consecutive seasons from 36 through 39. By the way, all 4 seasons, Yankees won World Series those years. And his 1936 batting average of 362 is the highest single season average ever recorded by a catcher. It was tied by Mike Piazza in 97, and Joe Mauer hit 365 with the Twins in 2009. But just, kind of a lifelong baseball guy. And his number 8's retired by the New York Yankees. And
one of two players to retire number 8.
Yeah, and he is indeed in the Hall of Fame, and it was maybe one of the even beyond Berra and Munson, probably the best manager of pitchers that's maybe ever been behind the plate, with the exception of maybe Johnny Bench.
Right.
And in '99, the Sporting News, had him, all the way down at number 57 as far as the greatest catchers to ever play the game. I think he goes a little unnoticed because of just the teams that he played on, and he was certainly in the shadow of giants.
Wasn't he kind of towards the bottom of our top 10 catchers list?
Yeah.
Like number 10C or 10B or something like that.
Yeah.
I think, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's pretty incredible. Yeah.
There you go.
Bill Dickey.
No, Mr. Bill Dickey, this week's Old Balls. And take a notice of that picture really quick. The attire they wore back in the day to ball games.
Yeah, that's it. All the mobsters that are sitting right behind him.
Well, you don't know that they're mobsters. I mean, even though they look like they probably are.
No, I mean, look, back in the day, men dressed like gentlemen.
Yep.
Put
on your suit. No matter what you're doing, you're going to the store on a Saturday afternoon.
Going to the game.
Going to the game. That's it. So, well, there you go, Bill Dickey. All right, there you go. I will take his picture off there. Back to us. Oh, what happened to Pete?
Pete left. He got mad. He got mad
that we're talking about Bill Dickey.
Yep.
You wanted to talk about another Dickey?
I have no idea. I think he got maybe
Or is that a new picture of him right there?
He's doing his own Johnny Murphy right now.
He's doing his Johnny Murphy. He left for a little while. He'll be back. So, all right.
Give him a little red ruffin while you're going.
There you go. Just a little bit. Why not? That's all. All right. So why don't we go to our let's go to the videotape. Now let's go to our NFL. We got some stuff to talk about in the NFL. There's something happening tomorrow night. What is that, Harry?
It's Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars, NFL edition.
Is that still on? NFL edition. That's right.
Exactly.
I can't wait for Jumbo Elliott to do Swan Lake.
Jumbo Elliott, well, he hurt his back doing it, so now he's a judge.
That's right.
So
he's tomorrow is indeed what sports shows have been talking about since I think before the NFL season even ended.
It's back in
the NFL draft, where
they start talking about the NFL draft. They start talking about next year's NFL draft next Wednesday.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's the draft, the NFL draft. So we have some picks that we did. We did our top 15. We didn't do our top 32.
We don't have to go through them all. Just scroll
through them too. No, what we did was we made up a graphic of our top picks, if you will, and
we have absolutely no idea. Just like every other so-called expert,
we know as much as anybody else does.
Who's done 27 mock drafts?
We can pretty much guarantee the first one,
and that's probably maybe it.
And that's probably maybe it.
Probably the first two.
It's a pretty good idea that we could probably get the first two, but definitely the first one. Other than that, we know as much as anyone else. So right. Nobody knows all of them. But we'll put up our picks. Should we wait for Pete to get back, or should we just blow through?
Go ahead and run it. He'll pipe in once he gets.
He'll pipe in when he gets. All right. So we'll put up. We'll do yours first, there, Harry.
All right.
All right. So we'll put up Harry. There they are. Harry Lug Nutz's picks. There we go. So we'll go through them. Harry says the Jags are taking Trevor Lawrence. The Jets are taking Zach Wilson. The 49ers are taking Mac Jones, all three quarterbacks. He says the Patriots are going to trade for the fourth pick from the Atlanta Falcons and take Justin Fields. Cincinnati's picking Penny Sewell. Miami is going to take Kyle Pitts, the tight end. Detroit, Jamar Chase, wide receiver. Carolina is taking Rashawn Slater, an offensive lineman. The Broncos, Trey Lance, are taking a quarterback. Even though was that trade official today?
They did what I told you they were going to do. Yeah, they got Teddy Bridgewater. I think they're going to get rid of Drew Lock. I think Bridgewater is going to be a bridge quarterback, and I still think the Broncos are going to take Lance. And I New England's looking at that number 4. I would also not be surprised if the Broncos, if they feel they need to, would trade up a little bit. But I still think, even with Teddy Bridgewater, I still think the Broncos are going to go after a quarterback, just because I think a Trey Lance or a Mac Jones, if he doesn't go to the 49ers, would be a 2 years down the road would be a good starting quarterback. And I think having him kind of spend a year or 2 behind Bridgewater would be a good fit here. Gotcha.
And moving on from there, he says the Falcons are actually going to trade up or trade back up from the Cowboys, and they got the 15th spot with the trade from New England. Going to trade back up into the Cowboys' 10th spot and take Devonta Smith, and then the Giants, of course, they're going to take Micah Parsons, linebacker, and then he says the Eagles taking Caleb Farley as cornerback, Chargers J.C. Horn, cornerback, Vikings with Patrick Surtain, 3 quarterbacks in a row going there, and then of course Dallas with New England's pick via Atlanta. And that would be Christian Darrisaw, offensive lineman. Those are Harry's picks. Anything you want to say about those, Harry? Or that's pretty much what you're...
Yeah, I mean, it's all just... I tried to spice it up a little bit, but I do think... I think the Patriots are going to move up. I think Belichick is motivated to have somebody behind center that is other than Cam Newton. And, I think those are all good fits for these teams, and we'll see what happens. I think the Falcons will stick with Matt Ryan for another year or 2, but I think that's why I see them getting, they might be willing to get rid of one of their receivers, maybe Julio Jones, but they've got 2 young receivers. I think at Devonta, I think they've always been pretty good at drafting receivers, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. Let's go to Radio Pete's list here. Radio Pete's list. You want to read it, Pete, or you want me to do it like I did Harry's?
No, go ahead. You're the master of ceremonies.
Same thing. Jags, Trevor Lawrence, Jets, Zach Wilson. He has the 49ers taking Trey Lance at 3rd. Same thing. He has the Patriots jumping up into Atlanta's spot and taking Justin Fields. And then he has Rashawn Slater going to the Bengals, Kyle Pitts going to the Dolphins, Jamar Chase going to the Lions, Patrick Surtain going to the Panthers, Micah Parsons going to the Broncos, Mac Jones going to the Cowboys. That's an interesting one because they just gave all that money to Dak, and now they're going to take Mac, and they'll have Dak and Mac. Could pose some interesting happenings in Big D. Jason Horn, cornerback for the Giants. Did I say Jason? J.C. Horn. J.C. Horn. Wait a minute.
Well, it's the same thing, right?
There's another cornerback, J.C. Horn. C. Horn was a cornerback. Okay. Penny Sewell going to the Eagles.
Dropping down to 12.
Dropping down to 12. Penny Sewell, look at that. Christian Darrisaw going to the Chargers. Jalen Phillips, edge rusher going to the Vikings. And Atlanta not trading the pick they get from New England. Taking Jalen Waddle. Dropping down to 15th wide receiver. Anything about that there, Mr. RadioPete?
Yeah, I'll say that I don't think Mac Jones is a guy. I agree New England is probably going to trade up. I'm not sure. I think they are. They want to compete. There's a chance that Zach Wilson could be can you put that back up again, actually, John? There's a chance that Zach Wilson could be good, and of course you've got Allen in Buffalo, and Tua, who may or may not be good in Miami. And I don't think the Patriots want to wait. I think you're right; they need a good quarterback. They don't want to wait with those teams being good. I don't think Mac Jones is a guy that you trade up to number 4. I think some people are high on Mac Jones, and obviously there's a lot of people in the media who are making a lot of noise. I don't think a lot of the league is really that high on Mac Jones.
I'll tell you one person who is high on Mac Jones is Shanahan, and that's why I think he's going to go there's a good chance he can go third.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, I don't know.
I agree with you, by the way.
Yeah,
but
no, you're right, and you're right. He is. I don't know. I just don't know if he's not. I don't think he's. I don't know. I don't think he's a guy that New England is going to be interested in if they trade up.
He's looking pretty
Trey
good.
Lance also. Trey Lance also. Look, he's Mac Jones comes from a big program, right? He had great receivers to throw to. He had good numbers.
Yeah.
Trey Lance has a little bit more of the improvisational ability, I think. Maybe than Mac Jones does. I don't know.
I think both maybe him and Justin Fields and Trey Lance are a little bit more, athletic, for lack of a better term, meaning they can run the ball a little bit. But, Jones is going to be interesting. He's somebody to watch. He's kind of like Alex Smith to me. That's who he reminds me of.
More of a game manager.
I think if you already have a quarterback and you could, take a Mac Jones, I still think
Dallas might take a shot at him.
Yeah,
I don't think they're convinced.
If Darius Short or Penny Sewell are still available, then the Cowboys are going to do what they do better than anybody else, I think, in the league, and that's, I think, draft an offensive line. But you might be right; it could be a good fit.
Good.
I'm probably wrong. And as far as the Falcons go, I'm hearing rumors that they're not necessarily actively shopping Julio Jones, but would listen to offers. And
I think they are going to shop Julio Jones, and
I think they're going to, if they're not already actively doing it. And I think you're right; they're going to stick with Matt Ryan for a little bit longer. And
if you can get Jalen Waddle with the 15th pick, I think that's a great fit there.
Yeah,
exactly. It's amazing. It's amazing how these receivers, who I think this is a good class for receivers. We don't have one. I don't think any of us had a running back in the top 15.
No, it's a good.
Nope.
It's a good class for quarterbacks. It's a good class for wide receivers,
and a few offensive
linemen, a couple edge rushers, and cornerbacks. There's a lot of good talent in this draft overall. It's not quarterback heavy or anything like that. It's pretty
no. Look, you have to. First rounders in today's NFL are about getting guys who can play right away, who you can maximize the value of them in the first 5 years of their rookie contract.
Exactly,
and that's why you're seeing the push that you're seeing.
And I've got the Giants passing on 2 offensive linemen.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Which they I think the Giants are going to take. I don't know.
If they might do.
They're going to take a left guard from Duke.
There you go.
But it's a basketball guard.
They want to read.
It's a shooting guard from Duke.
Right, shooting guard from Duke. They're taking a shooting guard from Duke. Exactly. All right, I'll throw up mine. My picks. Here we go. I got the Jags taking Trevor Lawrence. The Jets taking Zach Wilson. I got Mac Jones going to the 49ers. And I hear a lot of stuff about Julio Jones, and I really think Atlanta is going to move him. One, obviously getting older, but mainly his salary. They don't have any cap room whatsoever. So.
Look, and you're right there. Kyle Pitts, I think, might be
with Kyle Pitts sitting right there, he would fill a huge void if they get rid of Julio Jones. So I don't think they're moving their pick. But
long line of pretty good tight ends in Atlanta. Huh?
I do agree. Yeah, really. I do agree. Exactly. I do agree that the Patriots are going to try and move up, though, so we'll get to that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Pitts to Atlanta. I got Penny Sewell going to the Bengals. Jamar Chase, wide receiver, going to the Dolphins. Give Tua another weapon. And I got the Lions trading their pick to the Pats. And I got the Patriots taking Trey Lance at 7.
That'd be a good fit.
That would be a great pick for them.
Although I heard the rumor mill is that Belichick's higher on Justin Fields, but who knows?
We'll see how that goes. And I got Micah Parsons going to the Panthers. I got Justin Fields going to the Broncos. So I got the Broncos taking a quarterback too.
There you go.
But Cowboys, I got them staying pat at 10 and taking Kwity Paye, an edge rusher. They could use that on that defense. The way that defense, didn't underperform last year.
Kwity Paye is it's a name that could either be an edge rusher or an extra on Gunsmoke.
Exactly. And I think he was both, actually.
Yes.
Exactly. At that point, you got Jalen Waddle dropping to 11th. I don't see how the Giants pass him up. But mainly because Kyle Pitts is off the board already, Penny Sewell's off the board already, Micah Parsons off the board already. I don't see how the Giants pass up Jalen Waddle at 11. I got Caleb Farley going to the Eagles as well, same as Harry. I got Devontae Smith going to the Chargers. Giving Herbert a weapon out there. Christian Darrisaw going to the Vikings, and the Lions with the pick they get back from New England, taking Patrick Surtain. That's my draft board for the top 15. So
there we go.
So there you go. I think it's going to be an interesting night, and we will.
We shall see.
We're going to cover it live. Oh no, we're not.
And we're gonna cover it live. We're gonna be right back here watching it every step of the way. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm not.
You guys have fun.
No,
I may hire someone to keep track.
Watch it for you.
Yeah, keep track of the first 15 picks for me. I'll give you $10. Just write the first 15 down and hand me a list in the morning.
I'll be watching it. I will be watching it. We won't
As
be live, but I'll be
picking
watching.
up your phone.
I'm supposed to just
There's somebody writing down that list for you for free.
Exactly. So, but hey, there you go. So, I mean, that's pretty much all NFL we can talk about because there's really nothing going on.
How many poop emojis will John post?
This is definitely
when the Giants take some obscure cornerback from Eastern Kentucky.
when the Giants draft, let's see who the Giants could draft.
When they take the next J.C. Horn.
It's going to be some edge rusher who hasn't played in 3 years from
No, it's they're going to take
Rousseau.
Quinn Meaners. Yeah, Quinn Meaners. He's from UW Whitewater. He's
sat out last year because of COVID and was injured the year before, so he hasn't played in 2 full years.
Mm-hmm. So, and of course they could always take Amari Rogers too.
Yeah,
he's a wide receiver. He's rated 100th overall. But hey, you know what? Stranger things could happen. No, I really believe
top 100.
I think Jalen Waddle's going to drop to 11th, and I think the Giants are going to walk away with him. I'm not, and Devontae Smith's going to be on the board too, and I really believe and the Giants will.
I like Devontae's. I think there's a lot of good wide receivers.
I think there's a lot of good wide receivers.
I sort of classify Pitts as he's kind of an interesting athlete. He's going to be lined up as a wideout quite a bit.
Sure. Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, there's talk too that the Giants are looking to, who knows what they'll do. Things can move around. There's talk that they're waiting to see if Gettleman's going to make a move and move down in the draft, get some draft capital. But he's never done it before, and he said they interviewed him the other day, and he said he's not going to get fleeced if it's a good deal for everybody. Well, mainly for him, obviously. Then he'll take the deal. In
Mel Kiper's 97th mock draft, he agrees with you. He's got Jalen Waddle going for the Giants.
Yeah. Makes me feel warm and fuzzy that Mel Kiper agrees with me. So, is there a stranger guy on sports television? Oh, the only guy that looks stranger than Mel Kiper on television. Have you guys seen the guy who's on the NFL Network during the day? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry, and I don't mean this disrespectfully. He has the largest ears I've ever seen on a human being.
Uh-huh. He does. With all due respect,
he's a good.
And
good
does that
announcer.
even work when you say "with all due respect" and then insult somebody? Does that even work?
No.
But
Homeboy's got some big ears. Let's just say that.
He does. Well, let's put it this way.
Got a voice
I'm not
for
going to
radio.
say he actually has big ears.
Maybe he's got.
What he does have is the ears are flat out.
Yeah. There you go.
You know what I mean? They're not big on the sides like leaves going up on down on his head. They're out like this, like so facing
He's
forward.
got Asian elephant ears.
There you
instead
go.
of African elephant ears.
Right. They are very large. But he hears perfect.
He doesn't even have to. Yeah. He doesn't even have to be on Zoom.
Exactly.
To hear the correspondence from Charlotte.
Exactly. But with all due respect, great.
I don't even know his name. I just know his ears.
If you give me a minute, I could figure out his name, but and I'm not even Googling it. But I can't right now. So, and there's no point in anyway. So, those who know what we're talking about know, and those who don't.
I don't know why that came up. I'm sorry.
It's just funny. Anyway, but
Andrew Siciliano.
Andrew Siciliano. There you go. All right, that'll wrap up NFL. Folks, we're going to keep these. We're going to keep these graphics up. And we're going to revisit them next week and see who was right, who was wrong. What's the prize if anybody gets
anything after the first two, right?
Anything. What's the prize if anybody gets not counting the first two?
Whoever has the most right.
Whoever has the most right does what? Gets what?
I think whoever gets the most right, or whoever has in their 15 picks, also going just anywhere on the board in the top 15. So that would be the second thing.
We got you.
You know what I mean?
Right. The most amount of players they picked.
Oh, so
wherever they go,
that's the tiebreaker.
But still in the top 15.
Yeah, because I just I threw around a bunch of scenarios that are a little far fetched, but
gotcha.
No, they could happen.
Could very well happen. We're all in agreement that New England's going to move. It's just where to and who else is going to move around with them. So,
right.
But we will see. But we'll leave them up and we'll
next week.
We'll think of something interesting for the winner to get. And no, it's not going to be.
I think it's Pete's tropical bath towel.
Tropical bath towel. There you go.
And if Pete wins, then he gets to keep it.
He gets to keep it right there. That's the prize. You get to keep your own towel.
I'll wash it if I win.
There you go. All right. Well, there you go. All right. That's NFL for today. We'll let's talk a little NBA. We're
NBA.
A little closer to the playoffs.
The association.
Yeah, we're a little closer to the playoffs now.
Lakers lost again tonight.
I guess they did. And Knicks are
beaten. They beat Chicago.
Knicks beat Chicago.
Atlanta lost to Philly, so they're officially in fourth place.
Knicks are in fourth place. And they got what? There's 10 games left, right? 10. Yeah, 10 games.
I think so, yeah.
You know, I think I'm wondering if the Knicks lead the league in games where they've held opponents under 100 points this year. I mean, you know, the Bulls were playing without a couple of their best players. I think what's his name was out.
Zach LaVine.
Yeah, Vukovic played, but hey, plus 21 for Julius Randle, 34 points, 7 rebounds.
Yep.
The key to the Knicks is it seems like almost any time RJ Barrett scores 20 or more, the Knicks win.
Yeah.
It's
well, I mean, you know what? I mean, whatchamacallit's got to be having a good game too.
Who? Derrick Rose? I mean, he's
well. No, if Derrick Rose is having a good game, then of course that's the case. But no, the
Bullock.
No, Randall. If Randall's having a good
game.
Oh, yeah,
well, Randall's had. I think I texted you guys earlier this week. I think he's got to be in the MVP conversation.
He's been on, of course, and he's been on. He's been on every game, and playing well, and the numbers are just crazy. But yet, the other night when they lost to whatchamacallit, who the hell did they lose to the other night?
Phoenix
Suns. Yeah, they lost to the Suns. Yeah, he had an off night, and they lost. And it was like of all the games that they won in a row, and then today, playing what he's playing.
Ayton had a lot to do with that. They kind of clamped down on him and denied him the ball a little bit.
Yeah,
but he did have an off night.
They were up by double digits.
The Knicks were up. The Suns didn't lead till the third.
The Suns actually impressed me with their defense down the stretch.
So, but what it did impress me with the Knicks, the way they played the Suns, and the Suns are, Suns are a good team, clearly. So,
well, Chris Paul stepped up at the end, and
he did. He's like, wait a minute, because they just lost to the Nets too the night before.
I think you could see the Western Conference Finals in tonight's game with the Clippers and the Suns. I mean, I still think Utah's a slightly better team than Phoenix, but all things considered, the right matchup, the Clippers maybe beating Utah before the Suns. Mm-hmm. I think the Clippers and Suns are this is an interesting game. I think it's on ESPN after I'll probably watch the end of this. I think it's going to be a good game. Yeah. Both teams are really fun to watch.
I still say
go ahead.
I was going to say I still say the Jazz is going to be in the Western Conference Finals.
Jazz Nuggets.
That would be cool. I don't think it could happen in the way of
Jazz are struggling a little bit right now, but they have been very good for a good long time, and I think Mitchell's still out for them, right? So that's is he back?
I think he's back.
Okay,
but I could be wrong.
That would definitely account for them having a little bit of a tougher time. By the way, just as a side note and completely unrelated to anything, Portland is leading Memphis at the half, 74-46.
Really?
Which means that which means that the Blazers are just shooting lights out, which they can do.
Yeah,
and I don't think I want to play Portland in the first round of the playoffs.
No.
Nope.
I wouldn't want to.
Nope.
Exactly. But I mean, they'll play. They're going to play. If things sit like they are right now, and let's just say it's Portland and Memphis. Portland's playing the Suns. So I don't know. I think the Suns are still going to have an advantage, but it's going to be a good matchup. It's going to be a good.
Portland's
series.
only a couple games ahead of Memphis, by the way. So, which
anything could
I
happen.
don't know,
The Grizzlies are a pretty good team.
I guess. I didn't think of them as a pretty good team.
Yeah. I mean, I think if they were in the East, they'd be in the top 4.
Right.
Well, they're 2 games over 500. Yeah, okay.
But I mean, they'd have a better record if they played
a little better. They're a little better than I thought.
Yeah. Yeah. Memphis is pretty good. I mean, Golden State's another team, man. I don't think I want to play them go up against Steph Curry in a play-in game.
No. Especially not when he's all fired up like he's been the last, week and a half.
Right.
Yeah.
Putting up, 35 plus every night.
Yeah.
As Charles Barkley said, put some wood on that boy.
Yeah. He needs a little wood.
And Washington is hanging around too.
They're just one of those teams that
if they get into that
backcourt's
play-in, if they get into the play-in playoff, they could easily come out of the play-in playoff too.
Yeah, but they'd be the team that would have to play the Nets, though. I don't think the Nets are going to let Washington get past them.
No, but I'm just saying, as far as being on the outside of the official playoffs, and
I'd be rooting for the Wizards though, like something
having to play your way in, they could be dangerous.
Yeah,
I agree. In the play-in game itself, they'd be dangerous.
Yeah.
Once they get out of the game, because it's not a playoff series; it's playing game. So they're playing one game. Moving on, and they would have to play. They would have to play 2 games.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. It's 2 games.
They got to play. They got to win that game, win the 9-10 game, and then play the loser of the 7-8 game.
I mean, if the things sort of stay the way it is right now, they would maybe be playing the Pacers, and then kind of the winner of looks like maybe Miami or Charlotte. So
the loser of Miami.
Here's the most interesting stat that I see in the Eastern Conference. Mm-hmm. The Knicks are only 3 games behind the Bucks in the win column.
Yep.
That's scary. That's scary if I'm a Milwaukee Bucks.
Uh-huh.
I still think that
I don't think they could go on with they actually have 9 games to play. I don't think they could actually go on a run.
No, they're not going to catch him. But
look at the last 10 games.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 teams ahead of the Knicks are all 6-4. The Knicks are 9-1.
Mm-hmm.
So now there's less than 10 games left.
The Wizards are also 9-1 in their last 10.
Yeah. But 9-1 in their last 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
you look at the Celtics and the Hawks. They're both 6-4 as well. Miami's even. Charlotte is.
I think from 4 through 10.
Falling,
I think from 4 through 10 in the East, any of those teams can beat any one of those other teams in a playoff series. I think they're all evenly matched. Knicks against the Hawks, toss up. Knicks against the Celtics, toss up. Atlanta against the Celtics, toss up. Miami versus the Hawks, it's a toss up.
Right.
Charlotte, Indiana, maybe you get in Washington, maybe you get a little more separation. But are you confident the Knicks could beat Charlotte in a 5-game series or a 7-game series? I'm not 100% sure.
I'm not 100%, but you know what? I'm not 100% sure any of those teams in the middle right there.
That's what I mean.
Beat any other team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think the Bucks. I think it's going to come down to the Nets and Sixers, and I think obviously the Bucks and Sixers are going to probably wind up playing each other before the Eastern Conference Finals, and I think that'll give the Nets a real benefit because those 2 teams are going to be. That's going to be physical, and they're going to beat up on each other.
Yeah.
I just can't see the Sixers or the Bucks beating the Nets. Not if 2 of the big 3 are healthy, meaning Durant and one of the other guys.
Right. Which I think that's what's going to happen. You're going to see they're going to get to the playoffs and everybody's going to be healthy.
I mean, I think Durant can play 24 minutes in the playoffs, score 28 points.
Yeah, he can. Well, that's right. You figure whatever you're gonna put him in, whatever his minutes is going to be, he's going to be right around that number of points.
With points, yeah.
So put him in for 20, and we'll take the 20. I don't think Harden is going to play until the playoffs, right? At this point.
Yeah, at this point, why would he bother?
Yeah,
like we talked about last week. I don't think, they're in first place right now. The way they're playing, it looks like they're going to keep it. I mean, they only they're up a game on Philly now, but I mean, but I don't think first or second is as important to them as it should be, because it's just going to come down to the finals, the conference finals for that. So keep them healthy. Keep them healthy, and then just kill it in the finals, conference finals, or the playoffs, I should say.
The one team that I can see them maybe giving the Nets a series because of their defense and because of their length in the backcourt is the Sixers. I just think that the Sixers match up a little better against the Nets than the Bucks do. I also think I also think the Nets match up better against the Bucks than the Sixers do. So it's going to be the Nets and somebody else.
How insane would it be? And we all know this is not going to happen this year, but let's just hypothetically say, how insane would it be that, the top four teams right now, the Nets, the Sixers, the Bucks, and the Knicks, are your final four in the East, and the Knicks actually, take care of business with the Nets?
Well, I mean, it would be the upset of the century.
That's my point. It would be insane. I
think the only way it would happen is there'd have to be some sort of injury, God forbid, to one of these guys where they go down during the series, and it evens things up a little bit. But the Knicks still, to me, and I think this kind of proved itself in Phoenix, they're still really challenged to beat one of the top, let's say, 8 teams in the league.
No, I agree.
They're just not quite there yet. But they're winning the games that they should win, and they're winning a lot of the games that you kind of think, this is one that they're probably going to lose. And they're winning those.
Well, you know what? I don't think it would be a sweep, though. I think the Knicks could steal a game or two in the 7-game series.
Yeah.
Lose 4-2 or whatever. But
I mean, watching Durant and Randall go at it, that'd be a lot of fun.
It would be fun. I'd like to see that. I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. So, we'll see how that happens, and what happens with that, I should say. Anything we want to talk about in the wonderful world of?
Did you guys see the inbounds deal with Kevin Love?
No. Kevin Love's playing it?
Yeah. So they were playing Toronto.
Right. Were you watching NBA Classics?
No, it was on the NES Super Nintendo.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So no, that's a little before Kevin Love. So Kevin Love apparently had gotten kind of pushed around a little bit and felt a little bit disrespected during the game against Toronto. Yeah. So Toronto got an easy layup basket, and the referee shoveled the ball to Kevin Love, who was out of bounds, to throw him the ball, and Love just sort of reached up and slapped at it. And slapped it into the court. And I guess he meant to slap it to whoever was standing there. But I think it was Nick Van Fleet was also in the backcourt. And the ball went to him by mistake. And basically Toronto was heading up the court. They all turned around and came back down, and they got another basket. And this was, I think, fourth quarter, and I think Cleveland was down by 7, and then after that they were down by 9, and they went on to lose the game. And it was just sort of seemed to be frustrated and disgusted. The reason I bring it up is that, and I watched the play, and it was a stupid thing to do, but got a lot of press, and the pundits are talking about what was going to happen. Was the team going to fine him? Does he need to apologize? Is the NBA going to suspend him? And I urge you to check out the play. But look,
this just in. Are you on Twitter? Kevin Love just signed a contract with the Nets.
There we go. We'll take him.
I mean, it'd be perfect replacement for LaMarcus Aldridge.
Sure. Yeah.
So I don't know. It was a bonehead play, and but I didn't think it was that big of a deal. He did something stupid, and they're talking about maybe suspending him, or the team's going to fine him, or how do they discipline him? That's just a terrible thing to do. I'm like, well, Cleveland's not going anywhere anyway. Not that should dictate how you play, but
right.
I don't know.
It shouldn't. But
Kevin Love's averaging 12 and 6 this year. I mean, not horrible. Well below.
Look, Kevin Love's been a pretty good player for a lot of years,
Absolutely. I mean, he led the league in scoring twice, I think, didn't he?
Yeah. And look, he decided to stay, and LeBron and Kyrie left, and he took the money and he stayed in Cleveland. And the reason LeBron and Kyrie left is because they kind of, I think, saw the writing on the wall that nothing really good was going to go on there.
Kevin Love's younger than I thought he was. He's only 32.
Yeah. And he's been a quality player for
he's a very good player.
Decade, So I don't know. I didn't know if you guys had seen it. It didn't seem like that big of a deal. It was a bonehead play, and he, he's talked about in the past having, issues, some emotional issues, anger kind of issues and stuff like that. And he was obviously frustrated with the way the game was going. And like I said, I didn't see it. I just know what they were talking about, him kind of getting pushed around a little bit and feeling disrespected. Right. But I don't know. The dumb thing to do, but not worthy of a fine. He should apologize to the team and the fans and go, look, it was stupid. I was angry. It was a moment of anger. It was dumb. I'm sorry about it. But, I don't think you need to be disciplining him.
Well, he got Cleveland on SportsCenter in basketball for the first time since LeBron left.
Yeah, there you go.
True story. True story.
So, the last time a Cleveland Cavalier was on national television was Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Another true story. So, all true stories are on the Locker Room podcast, folks. We get down to the nitty gritty.
We do. Our top 10 NBA players who have dated, married, or slept with a Kardashian.
Number 10.
That's going to be a tough list.
Well, you got to narrow it down, Pete. You got to really break down the stats.
Now, when you say Kardashian, you mean Kardashian like in the royal sense, like the the Jenners and everything, just
yeah.
Just the whole thing.
It's one family tree.
Gotcha. All right,
sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, that's all I got for the NBA.
There you go. All right,
that's all I got too. Hopefully the Nuggets can hold on tonight. Yeah. A lot of injuries on the Nuggets, but they're still playing good basketball.
Still playing good basketball. They're still playing really good basketball. So
I
got to hand it to the Joker. I mean,
he's got to be the MVP.
Yeah,
he's just.
It's insane what he's doing.
Yeah, they're up by 10.
Yeah, I see. They picked up Austin Rivers. I thought maybe they'd go with Isaiah Thomas, but they picked up Austin Rivers. He's not doing much, but he's playing. I think he's already played like 14, 15 minutes tonight. So we'll see.
Just another couple weeks.
I thought the Knicks had too many forwards. Now it's the Nuggets have like one guard.
And all one guard, no centers, all forwards.
Well, they have the best center in basketball, but yeah.
All right, there we go.
There you go.
So another few weeks, and we'll be looking at the playoffs, looking at the playoff picture. Well, and things will come together sooner than that, but we'll figure out what's going on. But we'll move on to anything hockey.
No. Take this off till the Stanley Cup Finals.
There you go. Well, all I want to say is that the Hurricanes have the most points in the league right now. So there you go.
That's great.
That's great. Where are they? What town are they from?
Carolina Hurricanes.
The
Nissan
Teterboro Hurricanes.
That would be the Discover Central.
Discover Central.
Discover Central. There you go.
Yeah,
all right.
Carolina, the Central.
And the Rangers are quietly playing some good hocky, and they're
still too late.
They got a few games left. They
got a shot. They
got a shot. They're only 4 points out of fourth place, and it's Boston. It's in fourth too. So I mean, they probably have about 17 games left against Boston. So we'll see how that works out. But pretty much status quo, and obviously their playoffs. Pushing for the Stanley Cup playoffs are going to be after basketball. So we'll report back on that. And hey, I think that's about it, really.
All right, I'll do it.
That's it. And so there's good graphics today, John.
Hey, I tried.
Yeah, that's nice work.
Thought the draft graphics. Seriously, we're really
That was
quite
outstanding.
stunning. Pretty pro.
I did notice the little pictures behind the logo there.
Little picture down the logo.
And I like the lettering, blue lettering with the white. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. I could actually take the logo
Looking
off
good.
so that we could see Pete's face there.
Yeah, that was my face while I was making these pics.
There you
Who?
go. Oh, you gotta love it. Anyway, all right. Well, on that note, we'll wrap the show up for today. We want to thank everybody for watching, and for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.loggerroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Logger Room. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at 7:30. And for those of you that just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, and Stitcher. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you'll never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week, folks. Watch the draft tomorrow night. See how we stack up against what actually, all the pundits that get paid from the networks to make their picks. See how we stack up against them, and just see who your team actually picks or makes a mistake of if you're in a lot of cases teams that have done that.
How much do the guys and gals make that are going to get it just as wrong as we are?
A lot more than we did.
A lot more than three of us are making. So.
I don't know what deals you guys made, but my income from the draft is zero.
No,
I don't.
I'm not getting anything.
Nothing. Zero, zilch. And hey, you know what? They can get it just as wrong as us, and they're getting a check. So hey,
I'm looking forward to the tropical towel. So
I am too. So let's cross our fingers that one
throw
of us
in the proverbial tropical towel.
Get that tropical towel out of that room, and
maybe I'll make an ascot out of that and wear it.
There you go.
There you go.
Tropical ascot.
Tropical ascot.
That was a reggae band, wasn't it?
Tropical ascot.
It was tropical ascot. But yes.
It was Ziggy Marley in the tropical ascot.
After you score, you got a tropical ascot, eh? Yes, my Jamaican is Irish.
That's an Irish Jamaican, it's like blends between the two.
Oh, you got a little tropical ascot.
Rastafari.
Oh, yes. There you go.
Oh, boy.
All right.
On that note.
Next week, I'll be listening to the soothing sounds of Tropical Ascot.
Tropical Ascot. We'll be opening the show.
We'll all be smoking pipes and wearing Tropical Ascots.
Tropical Ascot with Bernie Williams.
That's right.
With the powder blue kimonos. Mm-hmm. That's what we're wearing, so enjoy it. So, anyway, enjoy your sports, and we will talk to you soon, folks. Have a great week. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Cheers.
Ciao.
Peace.
Look at the little Tula.